Saturday Night Live. Won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about Under the Rainbow. The worst theme song ever.
Worst score for any movie I've ever heard.
Oh my God.
It is the laziest score.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The whole point of a score is that it's supposed to support the movie and you don't think about it. Not stick out like a sore thumb.
It is possibly the most racist musical score ever done, because everyone has which is Chinese, not Japanese,
not even Japanese,
which is they can't even get the racism right in this movie.
No, they're very much well, are you surprised with Under the Rainbow?
Good Lord. Okay, I know that many of you have never even heard of this movie. This was a movie that I was so excited for as a kid.
Right.
So excited. It had Chevy Chase, whom I love, from not only Saturday Night Live, but from Foul Play.
Yeah.
And
which is a much better movie.
Oh, good Lord, dude. This is not saying very much. Jim Cotta is a much better movie than this movie. It had Chevy Chase, whom I love. Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, whom I love. Love, love, love.
Yeah.
Takes place during Wizard of Oz, the filming. A film that everybody's family had to watch every year when it was on the NBC or ABC Sunday night movie. So when it came out, I didn't see it in the theater for some reason. I don't know why. I was pretty young. Maybe I couldn't get the car. But but I do remember that this was one of those films that at the burgeoning of HBO or whatever, when it first came out, it was on all the time.
Yeah, because they only had to pay like 4 cents for every time it aired.
And even as a child, I knew this movie was garbage and offensive. And so offensive. Look, man, we give a pass to a lot of 80s movies for the casual racism and stuff because it was not mean-spirited. It was just kind of the way things were, for better or worse. Worse, yes, definitely. But I think it was just kind of like the way that it was. And then finally people were like, hey, other people have feelings too. Maybe we should, take that into account. And we became better people as a whole. But Jesus, man.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like this movie is mean-spirited.
Yes. Oh, I agree.
100% mean-spirited.
Oh, 100% mean-spirited.
And lazy. It's just it's the lowest common denominator.
Well, I mean, it's not only offensive to little people. Or offensive to the actors who were in The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
It's so offensive to the Japanese.
Yeah.
It's so offensive to the greatest example of its bigotry racism is in that one quick shot of the elevator crashing and you got Freeman King, turning into Terry Cox.
Right.
Because you made fun of the little people, but he's a little person, because that's how it happens.
Yeah, because when you fall down in an elevator shaft, you become a little person.
And you know that they were like, this is the greatest gag in the movie. People are going to love this. It's hilarious.
I honestly think they thought that the greatest gag in the movie was the acronym for the Photography Society for the Japanese people.
Yeah. JAPS.
Yeah.
It's a horrible, horrible movie. And it was such a disappointment because you have a lot of really great talent involved.
Yeah.
Some great character actors of the time. Pac McCormick, you got Richard Stahl, you got, Bennett Oha.
Yeah.
But Bennett was like the only nice person in the entire film.
Yeah.
And he gets brutally murdered. And here's the thing, too. This is how you know that this is one of the worst movies ever made. What is the rule, Adam, about dogs?
Don't kill dogs.
Don't kill the dog.
Yeah.
We were going to do a drinking game.
Yeah.
One person takes dogs. The other person takes Japanese tourists.
So many dogs die in this movie.
So many dogs. And nobody gives an F about these dogs. Chevy Chase could not care less.
They literally carry them around like they were just like pieces of fur.
Yeah, they got
after
the dead dog.
Dead.
Yeah, and
it's so weird.
Is Eve Arden like fooled by this, or I don't even understand the machinations of this joke?
Yeah,
It just again, you're right. It is so effing lazy.
It is just so lazy.
There is no character development. There's too many stories going on that are all over the place, so you don't really get to know anybody, and so you don't care about anybody. You know?
Yeah.
We were saying that this whole Eve Arden, Joseph Marr.
Yeah.
This whole Eve Arden, Joseph Marr subplot about the Archduke Ferdinand, getting assassinated by, the
assassin?
Principe.
Yeah. Well, the assassin. He's credited as the assassin.
But he says that he's the grandson of Gustav Principe or whatever his name was.
Just going off his official name for the movie.
Yes, because it's lazy. Exactly. But, this was all so convoluted and so unnecessary. When you do the tagline, hey, a murder mystery behind the scenes of making of Wizard of Oz. Sounds awesome.
Yeah. Sounds like it could be interesting. I'm sure that's why they got so many people to sign on for it.
If that's the movie they would have made.
But
Neat.
They did not. They absolutely did not.
But this is the worst, laziest kind of quoties farce.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we'll just go nuts and we'll do the whole chasing through, and they do every single trope. The in the rooms, out the rooms, chasing the dog, chasing the thing.
The car chase, the quote unquote car chase.
The only trope that they missed in that car chase was the pane of glass.
Yeah.
Which they kind of had with but it was no glass. They probably couldn't afford the glass.
Probably. Oh, they spent a lot of money on this movie.
They did.
A lot.
They did. And it does so many people dirty. Poor Billy Barty as a little Nazi.
I don't understand how Billy Barty agreed to be in this movie.
Well, that's the thing, too, is, he founded the Society for Little People to protect them.
Yeah.
And then they were part of this movie, too. I don't think that he probably knew to the extent...
Yeah.
Of the madness that it was going to portray.
Also it's work. It is work. So,
And it's probably the most work for little people since The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Willow or...
No, Willow was after.
Or Empire Strikes Back was after, so...
No, it was before.
Return
of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi was later, and that was with the Ewoks.
With the Ewoks, yeah.
But probably the most non-makeup wearing...
Yeah, where they just get to be themselves.
Yeah.
And
to the credit, they gave them all credit, which was nice.
Yeah. And I mean, you see at the beginning when they go into the hotel and all the little people are there, like, you can see on their faces how excited they are to be in this movie and how excited it's like, hey, we get to be ourselves and do our thing.
And then they saw the movie and 30% of them killed themselves.
Yeah.
But it was so insulting. And they treat little people like children...
or
Phoebes.
Oh, my God.
The way...
Picking him up and carrying him outside.
How humiliating.
Yelling, make sure you stay out of the street. It's like, I'm 50.
Yeah,
like,
buddy.
what are you talking about?
And the drunkenness and the buffoonery. And they sucked all the charm out of Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
They made him redo all of his jokes. It made me so angry when he and Carrie Fisher were trapped in the refrigerator, and they did the kiss, and they did the talking kiss thing.
The close talking.
Yes, which he did with Goldie Hawn to great success.
Oh, yeah, very much better. Yeah.
And here is the key. One of the keys to the horribleness of this movie that we figured out.
Yeah.
They talk about beating a dead horse.
Oh, my God.
Every joke went on with the kissing thing, talking. The reason why it works so well with Goldie Hawn is it lasted maybe 30 seconds. It was really cute.
If even that, yeah.
This was like they were having a full-on debate for 50 hours.
It went on for so long.
And they didn't have any chemistry at all.
No.
I think they hated each other.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, I also think Carrie Fisher was pretty doped up the whole time.
She was. They must be friends because, Chevy Chase was best friends with Paul Simon, so...
Yeah.
I'm sure they got along.
I'm sure they did, yeah.
But even if they, you could be... married to somebody and have horrible chemistry.
Of course.
It's just a thing. It's just, it's a magic on film thing. But they didn't have. Also, they didn't have any sort of like development to get to the chemistry. There was no.
No. Why would they have chemistry?
All of a sudden,
they don't even know each other. They're just. She runs into him a few times, and then they get stuck in a fridge.
Yeah,
like that's it.
Yeah, he traps them in the fridge because he's a boob.
Because he's an idiot,
a bumbling boob.
Also, very much. We were watching the movie, and I was like, "This movie should have been called Under the Rainbow." Coincidence?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's just and the whole. I understand that they did the subplot with the Duke and his wife to give him some more shtick or whatever.
Yeah,
but it just made him look like an idiot.
No, it's
Why
dumb.
is he babysitting this?
And the worst protector.
Yes, left the guy.
It was terrible. He was terrible. Even from the very beginning when they're walking through the Union Station and on the train, or coming out of the train, like he bumbles into Carrie Fisher, and by that point he looks around and he's like, "Well, where did the guy go I'm trying to protect?" It's like you're an idiot. So lazy. God, it's so lazy.
The writing, the directing, the editing. I feel so badly for these actors, especially like Cork Hubbard, who this was his first big thing, and he's like, "I'm starring in it. I'm the hero."
He tried so hard.
Hard.
God, so hard.
So hard.
And he's likable. Like he's a likable guy.
He is. He's not the best actor. He looks like he got hit in the face with a shovel.
Oh, his poor flat face.
His flat face. Yeah. It's just it held him back.
Too many profile shots.
Too many.
Cork Hubbard.
So many of Cork, and he's just kind of like, "Hey," But who's the hero? And it's also the most ridiculous thing of all. Spoilers for this movie that you probably shouldn't watch anyway. But because the whole thing was a ripoff of Wizard of Oz, where he fell down and this whole thing was technically a dream.
Yeah.
It should have been his point of view anyway.
The whole time. No, and it wasn't.
He was almost an extra to his own dream.
Yeah, pretty much. They kind of made him the hero a little bit.
They made him as much of a hero as they would have allowed a little person to be at that time.
He did a pretty good sword fight.
He got to fight Billy Barty. Poor little Billy Barty, too, with his little misshapen legs having to run around all the place.
They must have made him run for like a month straight. I felt so bad for him.
So bad. Adam Arkin, who did the best that he could.
This is the thing. I think that all of the actors really did the best they could given the material and the direction.
Oh, they tried. Look, Joseph Marr was, with the disguises and stuff, he was trying hard.
He was good. Eve Arden was good.
They had great chemistry, the two of them.
God.
I would have much rather seen like a Agatha Christie style movie with the Duke and Duchess and dopey Chevy Chase is the detective trying to solve the thing, rather than this offensive mishmash of garbage that has so little to do with Wizard of Oz except for destroying one of the sets. And
it was all convenience for having a bunch of little people in one area. That was it.
And this is a thing with this director too. Okay? Because as we will learn, he also directed Can't Buy Me Love. Right?
Yeah.
Again, beating a dead horse. That's his thing.
I look, Can't Buy Me Love is Citizen Kane compared to Under the Rainbow.
Yes. Yes, it is. It is Schindler's List.
It makes me like Can't Buy Me Love way more because it's like, okay, like he's at least competent. I mean, and granted, he made the Buddy Holly story, which was great and did well, but it's like it was just such a bad idea from the beginning.
It was a good idea, an interesting idea that was turned into this movie is an example of what not to do.
Yeah.
What choices not to make.
Yeah.
Because everything that they did was wrong.
And the first red flag when you're watching the credits, 5 writers.
Oh yeah.
Bad sign that your movie's not working.
Especially back then.
Yeah.
Because back then was not an occurrence.
No.
Unless you were just trying to that the first draft was probably pretty straightforward, murder mystery, didn't have all this extra goop, but they were like, look, we just got to chock it full. It's got to have this and that, and we'll have different things to cut to, and then but
Adam Arkin jumping onto getting launched onto a chandelier.
Yes. By a bunch of crafty little people who are so insane that they have to destroy everything. They were like gremlins from the cartoon.
It is so horribly offensive.
So offensive. It's just like these tiny little drunken buffoons.
Yeah.
that were, and then it's like, oh, but at the end they come together to help Bruce Thorpe. That's Chevy Chase's character. I didn't know if you knew his name was Bruce Thorpe.
No.
Because they never say his name.
Thorpe.
Yeah.
Thorpe a lot. Yeah.
Because Bruce, this was around the time that Bruce became the preeminent gay name. So they had to, downplay the Bruce thing. That's so lame. That's actually a true thing. You know that they changed Bruce Banner's name to David Bruce Banner in the Incredible Hulk series because they thought Bruce was too gay?
Yeah, well.
This is the time we're living in that back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just like, so this movie took all of the horribleness, all of the racism and bigotry, sexism, and made this movie, but the greatest sin of this movie, and you pointed this out yesterday.
I was going to say.
The greatest sin of this movie is that it is boring.
Yeah, it is. If they were intentionally trying to be offensive and, played that up,
like the South Park guys.
Then I could see this working.
Yeah.
But the fact is that the movie was just boring.
Yeah.
97 minutes, and it felt like it was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Because it just kept being more and more offensive.
Because it kept going in really weird, dumb directions.
Yeah.
And it took so long for all of the stories to finally come together to have this ridiculous 30-minute chase scene through the hotel and outside the hotel, and then, one of those completely hackneyed through the studio chases.
Right.
Which Bugs Bunny did it the best, so you might as well just stop. It was painful. And poor Carrie Fisher, man. Poor Chevy Chase. And poor Mako and Billy Barty.
Yeah,
Mako's one of the greatest actors. Billy Barty,
I know. But I know there were so many good. And the funny thing is that there were a ton of people that got a lot of work after this movie because they finally got into a feature film.
Good for them. If that's what, then the movie is.
I think that one shining silver lining.
Well, there are a few little people that became pretty big stars from this movie, or got careers. After this movie, which we'll talk about. But I didn't have high hopes for this movie. I haven't seen this movie in over 40 years.
I've never seen this movie, which is surprising because I'm a huge Wizard of Oz fan.
Yeah.
I think I stayed away from it because it did seem very ridiculous and ludicrous. And God, it just, every bad thing you've heard about this movie is so true.
It is. And we differ on this. I kind of think you should see it because you won't believe it.
Yeah, I can see from that aspect of it. It is worth watching once, just because we can talk about how offensive it is, but
you have to experience.
You're not going to believe it until you see it.
This was a big budget, big feature film.
They spent $18 million on this movie,
which is huge for a comedy.
In 1980, 1981, that's insane.
Star Wars was $3 million.
Yeah, I think Foul Play they spent $3 or $4 million on it, if that.
Yeah.
It is insane how much they spent on this movie.
And that's the thing, is when they have these movies that they have so much expectation for, then they micromanage it to death.
Yeah.
Then it becomes the studio heads coming in, coked up out of their minds with their dumb ideas. And I do think there was some cocaine involved in derailing this movie because it just seems manic. Manic and desperate.
Wouldn't surprise me.
It's a manic, desperate movie that nobody, the only character in the entire movie that comes off okay is Bennett Ota.
Yeah.
Who is the sweet Japanese guy who befriends Carrie Fisher. And it looks like they're going to have a date. Almost like, hey, she's going to date this guy.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, this seems cool. She likes him. She gives him the script. He's super nice. A little bit too Bowie. We got a little bit too,
Well, again, they had to beat that dead horse forever.
Oh, yeah. 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Everybody bowing. 8 minutes.
It was just too much.
Yes. And the bow gag. We get it. We've done the bow gag 1,000 times.
The timing. Timing was terrible in this movie.
And the cameras. And the whole Japanese tourist clickety camera crap.
It was when we decided we were gonna we'll make it a drinking game, and then we get to the scene of where the assassin shoots into the elevator and kills 10 Japanese tourists.
All of them
are dead.
All of the Japanese poor Japanese tourists.
That's when we decided we couldn't do it.
They all die. They all die.
It was
All of them.
so stupid.
The dogs and the Japanese tourists. I mean, when your running gag is killing Japanese people and dogs, you're done, baby.
Yeah.
You are done.
It was, and the laziness and boringness of the dog. Like when he had the ball and the balcony, immediately it was like, no, well, he's going to throw the ball off the balcony, and the dog's going to follow it.
It was like we were in a telegraph office.
Yeah.
It was so telegraphed. All of it was. We knew as soon as the first dog dies, and they go get the other dog. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is that it was like, oh, that dog's going to become Toto because they're looking for dogs. Nope.
That sure would have been clever.
Had to be more lazy and bring in other dogs and confuse it and make it,
Again, the whole point of having the quoties audition for dogs, which for some reason they had in the hotel, which makes absolutely no sense.
And also, all the owners just gave the dogs over to the guy and just said, here, take the dogs.
Oh, it was the 30s. They could just steal dogs. they just stole dogs from kids off the street. They didn't care. There was no regulations back then, especially for dogs. But the whole point of the dog audition was just so they could have a bunch of dogs to confuse with the dog with the thing that doesn't have the thing, and it doesn't make any sense, and who cares? And Bill Barty has to chase a dog for 45 minutes for no reason.
It goes on forever. I also do one other thing that I was a huge stickler about because of my theater upbringing. When you're on a movie set, you don't leave wearing the costume.
No!
That is not something you do. They spend a lot of money on those costumes, and if you leave with those costumes and ruin them, the movie gets suspended because they can't do the movie because you don't have a costume anymore.
Well, it was so much more funny to make fun of little people when they're in crazy costumes.
Oh, look, I recognize him from The Wizard of Oz.
Well, it's like, sure, Cork, you can be the hero, but we're going to totally emasculate you with this ridiculous little
the Lollipop Guild
costume and his blonde wig. When I first saw Billy Barty, I thought he was dressed up as like Inga from Sweden. I thought he had ponytail wig.
Weird.
It was like, who's putting him in that?
It was so weird.
So weird. All right, let's just get into it.
Yeah,
because I
can
could talk about this. We'll go through it as we go. But this movie, man, we've seen some stinks. And talk about June Doom. Let's just.
Yes,
we're back into June Doom. I know we started June Doom as doing disaster movies, but
well, this movie is a disaster
in so many ways.
This whole month, they're all disaster movies.
Buckle up, babies, because this month is some of the worst cinema ever made.
I'm going to apologize now.
Yes, we're going to go through Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to
that's
seeing
going to be
that
our
again.
capper. And it is quite possibly the worst movie ever made.
And then, man, I don't know why we're doing it to ourselves, but Hot to Trot.
I know I've seen Hot to Trot, but man, I am so excited to watch it again.
Well, we've mentioned Hot to Trot so many times on the show from other shows, and people, it seems like everybody that's worked on anything that we've ever done has been on Hot to Trot.
Yeah.
Even Laserdiscs was in Hot to Trot. But yeah, so Hot to Trot's coming up, and then
I tried to explain Hot to Trot to Phoebe. I was like, so it's Bobcat Goldthwait, and he's an accountant, and he gets stock tips from a talking horse.
I forgot it was stock tips. I thought it was like cheating on races or something. But
no, I'm pretty sure it was stock tips, and it's voiced by John Candy. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to go through, and
yeah, we thought this might be fun too.
Yeah,
but we'll see. Anyway, our apologies, but June Doom, baby, disaster, and this is the first one. This is a tsunami.
Oh, so bad.
This is an earthquake, a tsunami, and a giant fire all wrapped into one huge hellish hour and a half. Let's get into it.
Take yourself back to 1981.
Oh, yeah.
July 17th, two skywalks filled with people at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri, collapsed into a crowded atrium lobby, killing 114 people.
Good Christ.
That is a lot of people.
That is horrifying.
I grew up in Des Moines, and Des Moines has a bunch of skywalks, like a skywalk system.
Yeah.
So you can go from building to building, without being outside.
Vegas has that, too.
Yeah. But they started it in Minneapolis, and then it kind of spread around the Midwest.
Because of the cold weather.
Yeah. But, my dad built a bunch of them in Des Moines. Like, he worked on them in the 80s.
He didn't build one in Kansas City, did he?
No.
Okay.
He only worked on a few. But yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, it was just a matter of time before some skywalk collapses, and that's it. But 114 people, that is so many people.
That's a lot of people getting crushed.
Yeah.
Oh, God, whenever I think about these horrible multi-casualty situations, I just couldn't imagine being like a first responder and having to go in there and just dig these poor people out.
No.
And just seeing these crumpled, crushed.
Well, did you ever hear the story about after 9/11 with the rescue dogs and how the rescue dogs were only finding dead people and they actually got depressed? So they would have paramedics go hide and find them so that they could find someone alive and cheer the dogs up. Yeah, it's depressing.
Jesus, man.
Like this movie.
I watched that Osama bin Laden documentary. That was pretty good.
July 21st, Panda Tohui is born in Chapultepec Zoo in Mexico City, the first panda to ever be born and survive in captivity outside of China.
Wow, I didn't know it was in Mexico.
Yeah. I just went and saw they just got pandas at the San Diego Zoo again for the first time in like 20 years.
Well, they took them away and then they gave them...
they brought them back and all I really got to see was essentially a panda butt.
Ling Ling.
Yeah.
I used to love going to see the pandas.
Yeah, it was long, waiting in line for a long time, and like it was really honestly not worth it.
All I know is that I watch these videos. I don't know where it is. It's probably China because I think the people are Chinese. But they take care of these baby pandas, and it's the job I wish I had.
Oh, yeah.
They're just little potatoes of chaos.
I just watched a video this morning. It was like, how do these survive in the wild?
They're just so stupid. They're just little clumsy little...
Literally just threw a bunch of bamboo in, and the panda jumped because he got so scared. He was just like, what? It was like, you eat that.
The mother panda that freaks out when her baby sneezes. That's a cute little video. But man, just you can see the smiling frustration on these people's faces of dealing with these baby pandas.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't... baby pandas or red pandas?
Oh, yeah.
The job. I just want a job feeding grapes to red pandas.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Hey, man. Simple. That's all I want.
There you go.
And we'll do a podcast about it. Panda Files.
Yes. July 29th, a worldwide television audience of over 750 million people watched the wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer at St. Paul's Cathedral in London.
How bizarre. Could you imagine being Lady Diana? Just a kind of, she wasn't like some simple cottage girl. She was, she was a rich girl or whatever, but to have almost 1 billion people watch your wedding.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure.
That poor woman, man. That poor woman. Watching The Crown and then, history.
Watching history, yeah.
I like to watch history.
Why watch history?
I'm watching it right now. What a bizarre life, and what a sad, tragic.
Oh yeah.
Life she had.
Yeah, it's really sad because she was a very, very good person.
Yeah,
and
a great person,
a good role model, and she was just chewed up and spit out by the royalty.
When she went, I think it was Africa. And was holding and hugging, kissing the babies with AIDS.
Yeah.
And she changed the entire way people saw AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was like, well, she's doing it and she's not dying. Like, okay.
She was amazing for a person of privilege, and nobody's perfect, but just for all intents and purposes, Prince Charles seems like a prig.
Oh yeah, you mean King Charles?
Yeah, in love with he never loved her. Was always in love with Camilla.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, what the whole thing, everything. There should be no royals anymore.
I know.
This is 2025.
I know.
We should be done with that kind of bullshit.
I agree.
And what purpose do they serve?
Nothing really. They're just figureheads.
No, he just puts on a big crown and blah, 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 I'm the king.
Yeah. They're curiosity. I mean, that's really it now.
It's just,
and they have a ton of money.
They're like that weird gold chalice that your grandmother had in her house that is so outdated and should have been thrown away years ago.
Yeah,
but she just keeps it there because that's just how it's always been.
It's just always been there. So yeah, that's the royalty.
Well, he's probably out pretty soon. And we're gonna have...
I feel like the upcoming generations are going to change a lot of that.
Well, they're trying, but there's so much against him. The whole, who's the bald one? Not Harry, but
no, I think it is Harry.
Harry? I thought Harry was the redhead.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Prince Albert. I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever his name is. The bald guy. The Kate Middleton is his wife. I know it's Kate. No, it's anyway, whoever. But they went on some, publicity tour, and they're the good royals. They're not the outcasts like Meghan and Harry. I know way too much about this shit, by the way, that I would like to.
Right.
But when they went on their imperialism tour to visit all of the places that
they still have control over. Yeah,
they were not greeted well, and everybody was like, "F you, we don't want you here."
But this is why I'm saying
assholes.
I think once they get into power, I think that they're going to radically alter the monarchy.
I hope so.
I mean, Queen Elizabeth was queen for way too long.
Oh yeah,
times changed, and I feel like they're going to be like, okay, whatever.
The Queen Mother.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just, but now we're getting a king, so I guess it's all changing.
Yep.
Yay!
July 31st, Under the Rainbow is released in theaters.
I'm going to sing a really bad song about something stupid.
Opening song it was trying so hard to be something from the 30s. It was just not good. So Under the Rainbow starts with Fred Bauer, Steve Rash, and Ed Cohen, who had previously made the Buddy Holly story in 1978.
Should have quit then, buddies.
Yeah. Fred Bauer and Ed Cohen produced the Buddy Holly story with Steve Rash directing. Fred Bauer and Pat Bradley had the idea for Under the Rainbow, and after writing a draft of the screenplay, handed it off to Harry Hurwitz and Martin Smith, writing together for the first time.
First mistake.
Harry Hurwitz was a writer and director, mostly directing his own screenplays, but was notable for writing and directing The Projectionist, which featured Rodney Dangerfield's first acting role.
Hey, it's my first role. I got some respect.
You got a little bit.
A little bit of respect.
Hurwitz also made a series of sex comedies under the pseudonym of Harry Tampa.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Harry Tampon.
No. I love Harry Tampa. It is because Tampa is an awful place.
It's like the sleaziest.
It is awful.
This is Harry Tampa.
It's so suitable.
Want to see my pee-pee movies?
Oh, God, and they were just awful. These awful sex comedies.
Hey.
It was bad.
Screwballs.
Harry Tampa. Martin Smith, on the other hand, was mostly a documentary producer, having produced the definitive World War II 26-part documentary, The World at War, released in 1974.
What could go wrong with a sex farce writer and a documentary writer getting together to write the funniest movie ever made?
It doesn't make any... I think they were trying to give legitimacy to the story, that it was like, this really happened.
Failed.
Yeah. Smith has also released a 6-episode series on the Vietnam War and a 24-episode series on the Cold War.
Interesting. Probably really good.
I have The World at War. A PA of mine, when I was working in TV, gave it to me for Christmas, and it is a phenomenal documentary. World at War, the 26-part documentary.
You've seen the whole thing?
Yeah, it's literally 14 DVDs, I think.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
love to
so
watch
good. It's so good. I mean, it's long. But it's so good.
26 episodes.
Yeah. Apparently, the script about little people being obnoxious wasn't good enough, so the script was handed off to Pat McCormick to polish.
Ooh, I'll do it, but I gotta get a role in the movie. A role where a bunch of little people tie me up and have me raped.
Yeah. McCormick started writing jokes for television and stand-up comedians in the late 50s, eventually writing for sitcoms. He wrote for...
The Tonight Show, starring Jack Parr, Candid Camera, I've Got a Secret, The Jimmy Dean Show, The Entertainers, The Jonathan Winter Specials, ABC Stage 67, The Danny Kaye Show, The Andy Griffith Show, The Kraft Music Hall, The Don Rickles Show, Get Smart, Happy Days, The Red Skelton Hour, The ABC Comedy Hour, The New Bill Cosby Show, and 96 episodes of The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson.
Yeah, he worked a lot.
Oh, he was hilarious. Hilarious, and he's just this huge weirdo.
Yeah.
Pat McCormick was like a cartoon.
He's great. Yeah.
He was so funny with little Thomas. What is his name? No, not Thomas. Williams, little Williams guy.
Paul Williams.
Yeah. When he was big Enos? Something and little something.
Big and little Enos.
Yeah, big Enos and little Enos. He was so funny. Pat McCormick just had that.
Yeah, he was 100%. There was a great thing. I didn't include this, but there's a great thing. In 1974, he was writing for Johnny Carson, and the other writers dared him to go streak during the opening monologue, so he did.
Of course.
Carson stopped him and made him stand on stage.
He always looks like he's having the best time.
Yeah.
He looks like somebody.
He looks like he's just would be so much fun to hang out with.
Yes, and it appreciates the fact that he hit the lottery, man.
Yeah, and it's funny because you see him, he's this big dude, he's like 6'7", he's this big guy, and he does not look like he's hyper intelligent, but he is one of the best writers.
Well, because of his size and his looks, he played a dumb guy a lot.
Yeah.
You know, or a bigot or whatever. He played larger than life characters because he was larger than life. But I did not know he was such a prolific writer.
Yeah. Steve Rash was set to direct after his successful run with the Buddy Holly story.
It's very busy. Started there.
Buddy Holly story would be nominated for 3 Oscars, winning 1 for Best Adaptation Score.
Was that nominated?
Gary Busey got nominated, but he didn't get nominated.
I didn't win.
No.
My teeth were too big.
Right. In November 1979, the filmmakers announced they had signed a deal with the newly formed Orion Pictures to make the movie with Chevy Chase to star.
So far, so good.
Chevy Chase was cast as Bruce Thorpe, the Secret Service agent who was watching over the prince. Or the Duke. Sorry, the Duke.
A Duchess.
After leaving SNL in the second season to move to LA to get married, Chase started appearing in feature films. After an early appearance in Tunnel Vision in 1976, a comedy anthology starring a lot of lesser-known comedians at the time like John Candy, Joe Flaherty, Howard Hessman, Lorraine Newman, and Al Franken, Chase would hit it big with Foul Play in 1978, co-starring Goldie Hawn.
Tunnel Vision is so weird. You got to check it out because everybody is so young. They're just babies.
It's also was written and directed by Neil Israel, who we've talked about before, but he pops up in this episode a lot.
Yeah.
It's super weird.
Neil Israel was popping up everywhere. He was a creep.
Yeah. Chase would earn a Golden Globe nomination for Foul Play.
Great. I love that movie.
Also, listen to our Foul Play episode for more info on that.
Yes.
It's such a great movie.
Watch that movie.
Yes.
Instead of this.
1980 saw Chase appear in 3 films. Oh Heavenly Dog, co-starring Jane Seymour.
Listen to our Oh Heavenly Dog show.
Seems Like Old Times, his second film, co-starring Goldie Hawn.
I love it, with Charles Grodin.
Yeah.
And it's just a crazy farce movie. It's so stupid. It's just so stupid. Chase is like this fugitive, shows up at Goldie Hawn, who's his ex. And she's like this, bleeding heart, has all these like rescue dogs, and her husband is having like the mayor or the president or somebody over for dinner.
Oh, yeah.
And TK Carter's in it, and he's like... all the people that she's hired are ex-cons and stuff. It's just such a crazy, weird, stupid movie that works for some reason. And
we'll cover it at some point.
It's got a lot of dogs in it, too. None of the dogs die.
Yeah, and the movie's actually entertaining.
Very entertaining.
He was also in Caddyshack, which was by far his biggest hit to date, making more than $60 million from a $6 million budget.
More of an ensemble, but yeah, I mean, it's one of the greatest classic comedies ever.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd say the greatest golf comedy.
I don't know, man. Tin Cup is pretty up there.
I don't know, baby. Tin Cup's fine. Oh, what about Billy Madison? No, not Billy Madison.
Wasn't it Billy Madison? Yeah.
Billy Madison was the one he was going to school.
Oh, no, you're right. It's Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
Aha! Which they're doing a sequel to.
Yay, everybody's been clamoring for that.
Hey, well, I can't wait till we do our golf month.
God, the laziest MFer in the world, Adam Sandler. Love him to death, but good Lord.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. In 1981, along with Under the Rainbow, Chase was in Modern Problems, co-starring Patty D'Arbanville, Brian Doyle Murray, and Dabney Coleman.
Also, the lady from Give Me a Break starred in that, too. But she was like a voodoo woman in that. Modern Problems is a weird effing movie.
Yeah. It was a weird movie. He was also very similar to the Summer Vacation. He was a air traffic controller who was having issues, and like... So there was a whole fantasy sequence where he was flying, and during that sequence, it involved wires. Chase was electrocuted and had to spend a few weeks at the hospital.
A few weeks?
Yeah.
Nell Carter.
Nell Carter, thank you. That's it. Yep. Nell Carter. He was in the hospital for a few weeks during that movie. So, yeah, he got hurt a lot when he was making movies and TV shows and stuff.
It all started back with Saturday Night Live.
Right.
We did all those great pratfalls and stuff, and he was a physical comedian that paid the price.
Yeah. One upside of Chase filming Under the Rainbow was meeting his third wife, Janie, who was a production assistant on the film.
Would have been super creepy if he didn't marry her and stay with her for 30 years.
They're still together and have 3 children, and it's been more like 40 years.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
Just like Terry weirdo Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
When you find somebody who can love then you stick with him. And Chevy Chase
Well,
was not easy to love.
I mean, to Chase's credit, it took him 3 times.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
he was just too exhausted to be a dick after that.
After filming 5 movies in 2 years, Chase took a short break from filming until being cast in National Lampoon's Vacation as Clark Griswold, one of his more iconic parts.
Oh, yeah.
It was released in 1983. So we've covered Chevy Chase quite a bit, so listen to any of the many Chevy Chase episodes, including Oh Heavenly Dog, Foul Play, or The Three Amigos.
Oh, yeah.
More recently, Chase can be seen in The Christmas Letter, co-starring Randy Quaid, Brian Doyle Murray, and Brian Posehn.
Poor Brian Posehn. What did he do?
I know. Well, you know what he did do? He was lazy.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him do stand-up probably 10 times, and it literally was the same set every single time.
I didn't have to audition for the movie, so I just did it.
He's funny as hell.
Oh, he's great.
He's just a lazy stoner.
That show that they did years and years and years ago with Patton Oswalt, Zach Galifianakis, and and Maria Bamford. Who's, goddamn, she's hilarious.
She's funny. Yeah, all 4 of them are funny.
That show was great. And every one of them was awesome. And it was really fun because they were kind of just starting out. They weren't.
Yeah.
And it was just funny because Brian and Patton would just go to the comic book stores and they'd be like,
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
gonna buy? I don't know. What are you gonna buy?
Yeah, he's just a comic book nerd. He's just a giant comic book nerd.
He is. He's great.
But he's I'm sure he's written at least 1 new joke since then.
He was also great on the Sarah Silverman show.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
the-
I mean, I love Brian Posehn.
I just feel badly that
I mean, yeah, again, take work where you can.
Brian Doyle Murray, too. He's also great.
He's so good, and he's in some stinkers. Carrie Fisher was cast as Annie Clark. Fisher had just come off of one of the most successful runs of the box office for an actor, appearing in Shampoo, Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Blues Brothers, which collectively garnered almost $1 billion, all before 1981.
So interesting. All interesting parts for her. Mm-hmm. You know, Princess Leia, her turn in The Blues Brothers is hilarious.
Yes.
I love that.
So funny.
But this movie was so thankless. It could have been anybody, and they just treated her like garbage. I mean, the whole thing of Billy Barty cutting her dress off just so she could be in her underwear for fucking.
Oh my God!
Sorry, didn't mean to swear. She could be in underwear for freaking 10 minutes.
Oh, I know. Well, it's even longer than that because then she gets stuck in the fridge.
Well, that's the thing too. Is we're watching this and we're like, Chevy Chase, give her your goddamn jacket.
He's been in there for like 10 minutes.
And then finally, like after and then she's like, no, you'll be cold. He's like, oh.
Yeah, and then they try to get in. It was so forced. God, it was so forced.
Get in here with me. It'll be warmer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all it took in the 30s.
We apparently just need to rub our bodies together, and then we're going to do it.
And then we'll do the kissing gag.
Fisher had been dating musician Paul Simon, 15 years her senior, but had a fling with Dan Aykroyd during filming of the Blues Brothers.
Ooh, scandalous.
Apparently, a Brussels sprout was lodged in her throat, and it changed how she saw Aykroyd because he performed the Heimlich maneuver, which saved her life, according to Fisher.
That's just like a sitcom.
Yeah. I'm sure she was just like, she's probably literally opened her eyes, and he's right there, and she's like, I'm alive because of you.
Yeah, it's like when Steve Urkel saved...
Who did he say?
I don't know the names of this. I only know Urkel. Oh, very special episode.
Not even
Winslow.
Carl Winslow.
Carl.
Yeah.
Did I do that?
Aykroyd proposed to her on the set of their film. She said,
"We had rings. We had blood tests. The whole shot." But then I got back together with Paul Simon.
Yeah.
Poor Dan
Aykroyd. He was like, oh, I finally found my person.
I'm getting married to Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd pulled a lot of really beautiful women, by the way.
It must be very charming.
Well, he looks very charming. He's a funny guy.
He is.
And he's been with his wife, I guess, for
because he met her during Dr. Detroit, which was about 4 years after this, 5 years after this, and and they've been together for 40 years now.
Yeah, nobody could believe that he married her. People were just like, what?
Yeah, well, hey, man. I mean, look at, Jamie Lee Curtis and Christopher Guest.
Yeah.
Like, not that Christopher Guest is an unattractive guy.
But he's super smart, super
he's
talented.
super funny, man. Yeah. There is something about being funny.
Tell me about it. It doesn't work for everybody.
I punch way above my weight because I'm a funny guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I know you're funny, but punching above your weight.
Fisher was also acting on Broadway during this time. In February of 1980, she appeared in censored scenes from King Kong.
Yes.
Okay, I went down a very deep rabbit hole. I found playbills from when this came out in 1980.
Yeah.
I still don't know what the goddamn show is about.
Was it about the original King Kong?
Yeah, yes. It was something about, like, it essentially was a series of scenes, from what I could gather, of, like, scenes that went wrong during filming of King Kong, and then this was, like, kind of loosely tied together.
And she played Fay Wray?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. Like, I don't remember what her character wasn't named Faye. Or, you know, I mean, like...
But it was based on Fay Wray?
But I think so. Again, I think so. Okay. I don't know.
All right.
I tried to find just a synopsis of the friggin' play, and I could not find something.
Well, there hasn't been too many revivals of censored scenes from King Kong.
Apparently, back in the day, in the playbills, they didn't do an about the show. It was literally just listing the cast.
And if they told you what it's about, nobody go see it.
Yeah. In 1977, she appeared in Come Back, Little Sheba, a videotaped televised recording of the stage play. It was aired as a TV movie.
What's that about?
I don't know.
About Little Sheba coming back?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. She made other appearances on TV during the time. In 1978, she appeared in Ringo, directed by Neil Israel, who directed Tunnel Vision.
Ooh, Neil Israel back again.
And now this one, I went down a weird rabbit hole. Ringo star as a fictionalized version of himself and his fictional doppelganger, Ognir Ratz. Which
Ringo Starr backwards.
Ringo Starr backwards.
I saw that.
It also featured
Art Carney, Angie Dickinson, Mike Douglas, Vincent Price, John Ritter, and George Harrison.
Now, to make it even weirder, it featured music from Starr's new album, Bad Boy, and is based on the 1881 Mark Twain novel, The Prince and the Pauper.
Why not?
I have to see this.
Well, that makes sense, because The Prince and the Pauper was about people switching places.
But I just love that he had an album called Bad Boy. It's Ringo Starr.
Yeah, so there's a guy that looks like him, who isn't famous, so he switches with him so he could live the normal non-Beatles life, and then this guy becomes more famous. It's
Ognir Ratz?
Yes. I'm pretty sure I saw this.
It was just a TV movie. It aired once. You can actually find it on YouTube. It's really, really bad quality.
Oh, yeah.
But it's there. And I got the impression that he plays the entire album during the... Like, he'll play a song, and then they'll do a scene, and then they'll play a song.
It was basically just to get people to buy his album.
Yes. In 1978, she also hosted SNL twice and appeared in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Greatest special ever. Oh, baby. When Art Carney is watching, or not Art Carney, when Grandpa Chewbacca is watching virtual reality people porn. Oh, baby.
It was so weird.
Yeah. And you got B. Arthur running the cantina, singing a song.
Oh, B. Arthur, she's so good in it.
Art Carney was in it. Had all the great staples.
This is, again, for me also, it's not offensive, but it is so boring.
I loved it.
So boring.
Loved it as a kid. Because it had Han Solo in it.
Yeah, I think it's better that George Lucas wanted to hide it forever.
I don't know.
And couldn't.
I really don't think it's boring. I watched it a couple of years ago, and it's nuts. It's just weird. It's
about twice as long as it needs to be.
Sure.
I got to about halfway through it, and then I was just exhausted, and I was like, I need to stop.
It's a lot of Wookiee action.
Yeah. It was around this time that Fisher was using drugs as self-medication for her bipolar disorder.
Oh, man.
She was addicted to cocaine and prescription drugs. She used Percodan to dial down her bipolar disorder. She actually gave nicknames to her bipolar moods. She called one of them Roy.
The wild ride of a mood.
And Pam.
Who stands on the shore and sobs.
She also said,
drugs made me feel more normal. They contained me.
She had started using cocaine during the filming of The Empire Strikes Back.
Slowly I realized I was doing a bit more drugs than other people and losing my choice in the matter.
Yeah. It's a sad realization when you realize you're addicted to something.
But also when you're self-medicating to deal with a real problem.
Yeah.
It's different than just self-medicating because life sucks.
Right.
You know, and so not only are there complications from doing the drugs, but there's complications from the mental disorders as well. So it's compounded.
Right. You're not actually helping the bipolar disorder. No. You're just masking it.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's going to come out.
Yeah. In 1985, after months of sobriety, she accidentally overdosed on a combination of prescription medication and sleeping pills. She was rushed to the hospital, creating the turn of events that led to much of the material in her novel and screenplay, Postcards from the Edge.
Great novel and a really, really good movie with Meryl Streep.
It was funny. I didn't include this, but she was asked why she didn't play the part that Meryl Streep got.
Right.
And her response to it was, I already lived it. Like, I'm not doing it again.
Well, also, no offense, but Streep was a bigger actor then.
Yeah, of course. And Streep was great in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
Amazing. And was it Shirley MacLaine that played her mom?
Yes.
Yeah, they were both really great.
So good. Yeah.
Especially the scene watching, where they're having the party and the mom kind of forces her to sing with her.
Yeah.
And you just see that relationship of why she's effed up there because her mother is just so good. I want to watch it again. We'll definitely be covering it.
Yeah. After having a medical emergency on a flight back from London in 2016, Fisher was put in intensive care with a ventilator. 4 days later, on December 27th, she died. And I didn't know this, but the next day, her mother, Debbie Reynolds, had a stroke and died as well.
Yeah, her poor daughter lost her and her grandmother, all of her support
48
system.
hours.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, and she also seems like a great person. Her daughter, Billie Lourd.
Billie Lourd, that's right.
Yeah, who also seems like a great person. But, I mean, what tragedy.
It's awful.
Yeah.
It's awful to lose two people like that in such a short amount of time. And people that have obviously meant a lot to her.
Well, she was so close to her mom.
Yeah.
I mean, she was in Star Wars with her.
Yeah.
I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I truly believe that the Star Wars films directly contributed to her death because they had her working out so hard and losing weight. And it's not healthy to do that in your 60s, especially if you have the medical complications that she has and the history that she had. I really believe that they pushed her too hard because who cares if Princess Leia has an extra 5 effing pounds?
Yeah,
She's a human being. This ridiculous need to superheroize everybody is disgusting. And I truly believe that Hollywood helped kill her.
Yeah. Eve Arden was cast as the Duchess. Arden had a career that spanned 6 decades.
I love her. Talk about somebody reinventing themselves.
Oh my God. And I honestly, watching her in this movie, it made me want to go back and just watch everything she's done.
Sure. Because we mostly know her from like this and Grease, like her older kind of funny, self-parodizing roles.
Yeah.
But man, the film noir stuff she did and the stuff back in the day when she was just this gorgeous femme fatale.
Yeah.
She's an amazing actor.
Yeah, she's very well known for acting in films noir. Mildred Pierce in 1945, where she was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress, but lost to Anne Revere for National Velvet.
Ugh, who remembers Anne Revere?
Yeah.
She's Paul Revere's wife.
She was 400 years old when she made the movie. The Unfaithful in 1947, The Arnello Affair in 1947 with an early film of Dean Stockwell.
It's a really good movie.
The Arnello Affair?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's been years. I used to watch all these effing movies all the time.
My very first film class in college was a films noir class, and it was so like Mildred Pierce. Although I think we actually watched Mildred Pierce when I was in high school. I had a history class. We ended up watching it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean the novel. We probably read that in high school as well.
She was also in Whiplash in 1948 and Anatomy of a Murder in 1959, one of the last original film in the film noir genre, directed by Otto Preminger and starring James Stewart.
It was great. Otto Preminger was an auteur.
Excellent. Oh yeah. But this was around the time when film noirs or films noir was the genre was kind of dying out.
Well, yeah. I mean, like anything, there was just too much.
Yeah.
They glutted it, and people were moving on to weird, more colorful, sunny things in the 60s.
Yeah, the wave had collapsed. In 1952, Arden was cast in Our Miss Brooks, appearing in 130 episodes over 4 seasons. She would win the first Primetime Emmy Award for Best Female Star in a regular series, beating out Lucille Ball, Imogen Coca, Dinah Shore, and Loretta Young.
Nice.
Yeah, she was actually shot the show on Lucille Ball's sound stages.
Oh.
The Desilu's productions. Because Lucille Ball had I Love Lucy, which was huge and made a ton of money. And, yeah.
Well, they also... Desilu was a production company.
Yeah. I mean, it was
one of the first
powerhouse.
Yeah, she was one of the most. She and Desi were like the most powerful couple in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
Even after the show, just because of their
because they just kept the production. Yeah. The show, which was adapted from the radio series, this is Our Miss Brooks, which was adapted from the radio series that started in 1948 and ran until 1957, was adapted into a feature film in 1956 after the show ended, also starring Eve Arden.
It's so crazy how big that is. Nobody remembers anything.
I have no idea.
I think she was a teacher or something.
Something? Yes.
I don't know.
She had her own show in 1957 called The Eve Arden Show, which only ran for 26 episodes, one season. Just before Under the Rainbow, Arden appeared in Grease as Principal McGee. She would reprise the role in Grease 2 in 1983, which would also be her last feature film role.
She was so good in Grease. She's just so naturally good.
Yeah.
It's effortless what she does.
Yes.
And even in this huge piece of crap movie, she never loses her dignity, never loses a beat, 100% in it all the time.
She's so good.
Consummate pro. Tough old broad.
Yeah. She did continue to appear on TV, playing roles in Fairy Tale Theater, Amazing Stories, and Falcon Crest in 1987.
Nice.
Which was also her final role.
No.
In November 12th, 1990, Arden died at home at the age of 82 from cardiac arrest.
Okay, home.
Yeah.
Probably died in her sleep.
Yeah,
Good way to go.
She worked up until she was like almost 80, and then was like, I'm good.
So good. Such a distinctive voice. Yeah, just one of the best voices in Hollywood.
Good.
It's just
So gorgeous. And look, watch her and Mildred Pierce. She was so gorgeous.
gorgeous. I mean, still gorgeous.
I mean, even in this,
Yeah.
she was gorgeous. Yeah.
She was always beautiful and had this air about her that you just had to watch her. She just had that thing, that's something special.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. Yeah. She had the it factor.
Yeah, she did.
Joseph Marr was cast as the Duke.
The Duke.
Marr was an Irish actor that did a lot of acting on and off Broadway, earning 3 Tony nominations over his career.
Nice.
There was some playwright that he worked with a lot,
Yeah.
and I had never heard of him, so I didn't include it.
You know this dude.
Oh, you
see his
Joseph
face.
Marr. Yeah. Immediately you recognize
He
him
was in everything.
because he was omnipresent
yeah.
in everything.
Always playing like an upper crusty or some
Yeah,
sort of,
yeah.
interior decorator.
His film credits include
For Pete's sake, Kevin can wait time after time. Just tell me what you want. I'm dancing as fast as I can. The Evil That Men Do. Frank and Weenie. My stepmother is an alien. Sister Act. Funny Farm. IQ. In and Out. The Shadow. Mars Attacks. And The Out-of-Towners.
Marr was also a staple on TV, guest starring on shows including
MASH. Wonder Woman When Things Were Rotten. Ellery Queen. Saint Elsewhere. Alf. Give Me a Break. Moonlighting. 30-something. Murder. She Wrote. Seinfeld. Tales from the Crypt. And Chicago Hope.
The Out-of-Towners with Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn in 1999 was his final role.
That was a interesting movie.
I've only seen it once, and I don't remember liking it.
That's not the one.
It's a remake of...
Oh, that one wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But there was
it's Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn.
Didn't they also do one where she was like squatting in his house? And
Maybe.
maybe it was called The Squatter? I don't know.
No, I don't know.
House Sitter, I think maybe it was called. Anyway, yes, they did a couple of movies. She did the
Yeah.
Goldie Hawn thing.
Yeah.
They were good together.
Marr died of a brain tumor at his home in Los Angeles, California on July 17th, 1998 at the age of 64.
Oh my God, so young. And what's crazy is when he
Yes.
was playing the Duke, he was younger than both of us.
Yeah, he was like 46 maybe, I think.
Silverhead
Which also
Fox.
is very funny because he did very well with Eve Arden, who was at least 70 or 72.
Yeah.
Like 71, 72 when she was playing the part. But man, they look great together. They had great chemistry. They were good.
He was fine. He was funny with his little disguises. And they're trying to assassinate me.
So free. He was convinced he was going to get assassinated.
Yes, and he was so happy when he found out that he was.
Yeah, he
They
was
were
right.
trying to kill me.
He was right.
Oh, those poor dogs.
Robert Donner was cast as the assassin.
He's not related to Richard Donner.
He is not. Donner was the only person other than John Wayne to appear in the loose Western trilogy of Rio Bravo, El Dorado, and Rio Lobo.
He was a smarmy-looking dude that played a lot of bad guys.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he easily could have played Abe Lincoln because he had the long face, and when he had a beard, I was like, he looks just like Abe Lincoln.
He does, but he had crazy eyes. And
yeah.
he could never... Very rarely did he play not a villain or a weirdo.
Yeah.
Mark and Mindy cemented his career.
Well, yes.
Playing.
He appeared in a lot of Westerns, including Chisholm, The Undefeated, and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Oh, yeah.
In 1971, he appeared in Vanishing Point, the Colt Muscle Car classic.
Oh, that was a good one.
I love Vanishing Point. It's so good. From 1972 to 1978, Donner appeared in 19 episodes of The Waltons.
I think he was like one of the shop owners.
Yeah, he was somebody that lived in the town. Yeah,
I think
and
he like
don't
ran the
remember.
general store or something.
That could be.
I don't know if he was a creep in that one. I think it was.
No, I think after the Western stuff, he kind of was veering away from it.
Well, not really. Wait till we get to his next role.
Yeah. From 1978 to 1982, he appeared in 22 episodes of Mork and Mindy as Exodore, the prophet cult leader.
Oh, Exodore. And then he would always be like, "Oh, he was crazy. He was a crazy homeless guy that Mork listened to."
Yeah. Well, because
and Mindy didn't like
Mork,
it.
he knew Mork was from another planet, but the dude was insane.
Yeah, so nobody believed him.
All of his cult members were invisible.
Yeah, it was only him.
And it was like he would talk to them, and then it was like, okay, you're just crazy.
He was basically a crazy homeless guy.
Yeah.
That played for laughs.
It's hilarious.
Oh, nothing like bipolar disorder to get you at the chucks.
Donner made a ton of TV appearances in the 80s and 90s, including
The Incredible Hulk, Voyagers, Little House on the Prairie, The A-Team, Simon & Simon, Blue Thunder, Matlock, Murder, She Wrote, MacGyver, Fame, Falcon Crest, Webster, Columbo, In the Heat of the Night, Legend, Pacific Blue, and Early Edition.
He died on June 8th, 2006 of a heart attack at the age of 75.
Oh.
Yeah.
So young.
But he worked a lot.
He did, man. And he, look, you get cast as a creep, you'll work as a creep all your life. And it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by the creeps.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to talk to these guys and be like, well, what is it like to have a career where everybody hates you? Or you're just the jerk all the time?
Right.
You know, like Michael McDonald, you know,
Yeah.
Mike, whatever, the guy from Billy Matt, whatever the golf movie is.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore, which we already talked about.
Good Lord. But, you know, somebody who just always plays the jerk or the
Right.
hateable person.
Right.
You know, to the point where people are on the streets are like, I hate you. You're a jerk.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
so much
it must
fun.
be. Yeah.
I think if I had fame, I think I would like that fame because then people wouldn't really bother you.
Yeah.
You
They
know?
would recognize you and be like,
They'd shun you.
It's that jerk. It's that
like-
jerk from the movie.
There's a guy that punched out Carrie Fisher. You're a jerk.
Billy Barty was cast as Otto Kriegling.
Billy Barty.
In 1957, at the age of 33, Barty founded the Little People of America organization.
He was probably the biggest little person star
Yeah.
up until maybe Peter Dinklage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Peter Dinklage was the first little person star who was able to defy the stereotype of the little person.
Yeah, he transcended that. I would say a little bit the guy from Willow.
Oh, Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis.
Yeah.
Kind of,
Warwick-
you know,
Warwick Davis.
he did a lot more comedy and stuff playing himself and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but Peter Dinklage was, I mean, obviously, like, did more of the dramas and the serious parts.
He wasn't cast as a dwarf.
No.
Peter Dinklage played roles that weren't necessarily dwarf roles. They were just roles.
No.
You know?
And the times where he did, like, in Elf,
Yeah.
it was like, they specifically pointed out that he did not like that stuff.
Right, yeah.
And it was, you know.
Well, he had such an amazing not debut, but his first big role, at least the one that made me recognize him, the station agent.
That was pretty early. Yeah.
It was so brilliant. He was so good in and Bobby Cannavale.
Yeah, I know. Of all
was so
people.
good in it.
Of all people.
I was like, I like this guy. And then he just destroyed that good
Broken clocks right twice a day.
Anywho's. And then I forget the woman who starred in that. Oh, was it Michelle Williams?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great movie. If you haven't seen Station Agent,
It's good.
and you like Peter Dinklage,
He's so good.
really great movie.
Barty's first credited role was in Out All Night at the age of 9 in 1933. He played children and babies for a long time.
Yeah.
1954, he connected with Spike Jones and joined the Spike Jones Hour, appearing in 16 episodes. Barty also starred in a local Southern California children's show, Billy Barty's Big Top, in the mid-1960s, which regularly showed the Three Stooges shorts.
No.
In one program, Stooge Mo Howard visited the set as a surprise guest.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Mo Howard. How are you? I'm gonna, look at the little guy. I'm bigger than him.
The program gave many Los Angeles area children their first opportunity to become familiar with little people who until then had been rarely seen on the screen except as two-dimensional curiosities.
Or Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Well, yes. But you got to remember that in the 60s, Wizard of Oz wasn't a thing.
People watch it all the time.
It
Really?
didn't come onto TV until the late 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, it failed in 1939. It did not make any of its money back, and it essentially disappeared for like 4 decades.
That's great. I did not know that.
Or ish. Yeah. Yeah, nobody. And that's what I also love about this movie is that, I mean, yes, they thought it was going to be a big hit, but it was not.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it wasn't until I think it was ABC or whatever started picking it up for Christmas, and they would air it every year, and then people were like, "It's great," and it got a resurgence.
Everybody, we had to watch The Sound of Music and The Wizard of Oz and Ben-Hur.
I think Wizard of Oz, it was around like 76, 77 or something where it finally came back.
Well, it was a staple of my life.
Or maybe a little earlier than that, but yeah, enough obviously for them to do a movie like Under the Rainbow where people knew it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Much of Barty's film work consisted of bit parts and gag roles. He appeared in 2 Elvis Presley films, Roustabout in one scene, and Harem Scarum as a co-star without dialogue. In 1978, he appeared in Rabbit Test and Foul Play.
He's so good in Foul Play.
I feel so sad for him in that movie.
So good in it, though.
He's so good. I know, but he's just so abused in that movie.
I am sad that we didn't get to see Billy Barty do something like dramatic and straightforward.
Yeah.
Because I think he was a brilliant actor. Even him playing the Nazi.
Oh, he committed
so well. And you watch him. I love watching actors' reactions when they're not. When the camera's on them and they're not talking, then you can see who's a good actor and who's not.
Yeah.
And he is so engaged and so in it the entire time. The guy commits like nobody else. I mean, so good. And like I said, breaks my heart that little guy had to run around so much with his little curved legs. It's just like, come on, man. It's Billy goddamn Barty.
I really kind of want to see. I wanted to see a running contest,
race. Is that
between Billy Barty and Tom Cruise?
There you go.
Because Billy Barty ran full speed for like 10 minutes in this movie. And granted, I understand, obviously, there's cutting and there's things. But man, every time he was on screen, he was running full out.
Yes, and he did have to use a cane. I mean, he
had horrible bow legs.
Because of the dwarfism.
Yeah. I mean, it could not have been comfortable. Right?
No. Here's the thing. We have become cognizant to offending other people.
Yeah.
Which we didn't have in the 80s.
Yes.
There was like, they'll just laugh it off. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then you got people playing it. So it's like, who cares?
Right,
You got all these Asian actors playing this stuff. It's like there was a lack of empathy in the 80s that I think that we've found through Gen X. I think Gen X is the empathy bridge of generations from the asshole boomers to the self-important millennials. You had latchkey kids in the middle who kind of was like, hey, guys, you're being dicks. Stop being dicks.
Yeah, Billy Barty is best known to Gen Xers for Legend in 1985, appearing as Screwball, a dwarf opposite Cork Hubbard.
Yeah, and that's Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise and
Mia Sara,
and the bad guy is
Tim Curry.
To be honest, I don't think I've ever seen Legend.
We got it. I got the DVD.
Okay. I figure at some point we'll cover it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
All I remember of Legend is Rolling Stone had this spread of Tom Cruise with his long, luxurious locks. And Tom Cruise loved having the long hair, and he's like, I'm keeping this long hair. And I think he did Top Gun immediately after.
Shaved his head.
But that was the whole thing about that movie was Tom Cruise's long hair.
All I remember from it is
Tim Curry?
Tim Curry as Satan or whatever.
As the demon?
The devil.
He was so good.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about that is, and I think you might have told me this, was that during that production, like one stage over, Grace Jones was doing Moonraker, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And so she would hang out with Tim Curry while he was getting his makeup done for like 6 hours, and they would just like chat and dish and have the best time. And man, would I have loved to just be sitting in that room listening to those two
fly on the wall, hanging out.
Unbelievably awesome Freak Shows talk.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Grace Jones is insane.
Yeah.
In the best way possible.
Billy Barty was also in Masters of the Universe in 1987, appearing as Gwildor, the creator of the Cosmic Key.
Gwildor! I have the power!
Yeah, that movie's so awful.
Yes.
I love it so much. He was also in Willow in 1988, appearing as High Aldwin, the village elder. And in UHF in 1989, appearing as Noodles, the cameraman.
Noodles, I remember.
Which is my absolute favorite part for Billy Barty because he was so great in it.
He was. psyched when we do. I'll be psyched when we do UHF.
I love
It's been a
you.
long
UHF
time.
is my top 3 favorite comedies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 1990, Barty was sued in small claims court by 2 of the writers of his canceled comedy television series Short Ribs,
Small claims court. Come on, Adam. Do better.
which aired for 13 weeks in the autumn of 1989 as a local program on KDOC TV.
2 B's and short ribs, by the way.
Yeah, 2 B's.
'Cause
Short
they're
Ribs.
ribbon.
Yeah. Producer and writer William Winkler and writer Warren Taylor filed separate lawsuits against Barty for money owed, and Barty lost both cases.
Oh.
Barty claimed the lawsuit news was the most publicity he ever got and compared it to similar press that celebrity Zsa Zsa Gabor received for slapping a Beverly Hills police officer.
Finally, I get a little bit of recognition.
Yeah. Sadly, Barty died of heart failure in 2000 at the age of 76.
This is a long time for,
Yeah,
somebody
he
with so
did.
many complications.
Yeah, he did. He did, actually. Yeah, that's true.
Billy Barty was a fixture of our lives,
Yeah.
Gen X lives. And
yeah.
he just seemed like the coolest dude. And he was so game.
The fact that he came, maybe that's why he did this movie, because he was like, oh, hey, I get to be a Nazi, and I get to, like, have actual meat in my character. And
Well, he
like,
gets to sword fight. He gets to do
Yeah,
all this really
that's
fun
true.
stuff.
That's
I mean, stuff that he normally wouldn't get to do.
he gets to hit Hitler in the balls.
Yeah. I mean, anybody would want that part.
It was so great.
Worst casting of Hitler, too, by the way.
He did not.
He looked like
no.
some dude from Connecticut with a Hitler mustache on.
It was just bad. It was bad.
Yeah. When your first scene has Hitler, you know the movie's going downhill.
Mako was cast as Nakamori. Mako's full name was Makoto Iwamatsu, but always went by Mako. His career covered 5 decades and 165 productions.
And yet everybody called him Mako.
I know.
Because of the goddamn shark.
It was because of Makoto. It's no one, yeah. Born and raised in Kobe, in Japan, Mako moved to the United States after the Second World War, where his dissident parents had moved to escape political persecution.
Could you imagine living through World War II as a Japanese person?
Yeah.
And then coming to the United States
Ugh.
after just people being in internment camps. And,
Right,
it must
right.
have been really tough.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's definitely very major disagreements with your government if you're
Yeah.
like, I'm going to the enemy. Bye.
Yes, exactly. Oh, my God.
After serving in the Korean War, he trained in acting at Pasadena Playhouse.
Okay.
In 1966, he appeared in The Ugly Dachshund, a Walt Disney film about a Great Dane that believes he's a dachshund.
I love how stupid movies could be back then.
I know.
Yeah,
I
it's
know.
like, move back. Especially the Disney movies like That Darn Cat.
Yeah.
Or, the computer that wore tennis shoes.
The Shaggy DA.
Yeah, just these weird concept
It's
films
like-
that I loved as a kid.
How are we going to make this work? I don't know. We'll just do it.
Flubber,
Whatever. Yeah.
whatever.
Whatever.
Gus, the donkey that
Oh,
played
yeah.
football.
Yeah.
There was such a great string of Disney movies back in the 70s.
So weird.
60s, mostly starring Kurt Russell as
Yeah.
some hapless kid.
Or Don Knotts.
Well, or maybe both if you're lucky. Don't forget about the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Oh, yeah.
The Apple Dumpling Gang rides again.
That same year, he also appeared in The Sand Pebbles, an epic war film starring Steve McQueen, shot in Panavision.
It's an amazing movie.
I've never seen it. I do want to see it. I now haven't read about it.
Yeah.
It was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Supporting Actor for Mako.
Yeah.
But he lost to Walter Matthau for The Fortune Cookie.
Walter,
Honestly, sounds racist.
The Fortune Cookie?
Yeah.
I think that was like a murder mystery. I'm not.
It was, but I didn't look too deep into it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I get it.
Maybe it's not. I don't know.
I don't think it is.
Maybe it's just that it's literally about a fortune cookie and not
I think it's just a murder mystery, and
Right.
they use that. I don't think it's like
as a device. Yeah.
maybe, or maybe even not. Maybe it's not even a part of it. Maybe it's just.
But I love Walter Matthau, so I mean,
Yeah.
maybe I need to see the movie.
I won an Oscar, not you, Mako.
He won a couple Oscars for
Yeah, I
it.
did. Yeah.
Sadly, The Sand Pebbles, even though it was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, would win none of the Oscars. In fact, I think it held the record for the most nominations, not winning anything for quite a while.
That sucks. That's such a good movie.
Like a lot of Asian actors in Hollywood, Mako was cast in anything looking vaguely ethnic, including The Hawaiians in 1970, starring Charlton Heston, and Tina Chen as the Chinese contract laborer Moon Ki.
Yeah.
Moon Ki, if you say it real fast.
Yes.
It's super racist. I did not even make that connection until literally right now.
Mookie.
Disney's The Island at the Top of the World in 1974 as Umiak, the Inuk guide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's because Japanese apparently they're just interchangeable.
Well, Asian.
The Killer Elite in 1975, directed by Sam Peckinpah and starring James Caan, Robert Duvall, and martial artist Takayuki Kubota appearing as Yuan Chung. So even then, they had a Japanese martial artist in it, and he still played a Chinese guy.
Killer Elite's a great movie, though.
Yeah. Sam Peckinpah is incredible.
The godfather of ultraviolence. Yeah.
Highlander 3, The Sorcerer, as the Sorcerer Nakano. So, hey, he's moving up in the world.
Yeah, baby, and your favorite franchise.
God, one of the worst movies ever. He played Jackie Chan's uncle / Sifu in Chan's first American movie, The Big Brawl, in 1980.
Such a weird movie, man. Have you ever seen that movie?
The Big Brawl? No, I have not.
It's basically, I think, it's like Cannonball Run, but for a fight.
Isn't it kind of similar to the Warriors and stuff?
No. It's like this. It takes place in the 30s, I think.
Oh,
and
really?
I think everybody's coming together for this big fight. It's like Cannonball Run, like a big race, but it's a big fight.
Oh, okay.
And so he comes to, and I think the winner gets some money or something. I have to look into it, but we'll definitely cover it.
Okay.
I had a period of Jackie Chan obsession where I watched just about everything he did.
Yeah. He's so good.
This was before like he came and did like Rush Hour and that stuff. But back when it was like, it's the policeman and all these
right.
really great
Super
Chinese
Cop
movies.
and
Super
stuff.
Cop, yeah.
And Super Cop 2 and Super Cop 3.
Yes, the Super Cop oeuvre.
I have a very, very soft spot for Rumble in the Bronx. Like that was one of those I saw in college. It was like 92 or 93, 94.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
But Rumble in the Bronx was it wasn't, obviously it was later, but it was him trying to get back into the American cinema, because I think that was before he did Rush Hour and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I just love Rumble in the Bronx because they shot it in Vancouver and tried to make it be New York, and there's just mountains everywhere.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. But I remember seeing one of his Chinese movies and the shit that he was doing, jumping through chairs.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like watching a circus.
Yeah.
It was so incredible.
There was a ton of his movies that he did in the 80s that they brought over that were huge. I mean, huge.
And the best part of those movies were the bloopers at the end where you see him get mauled.
Just ravaged.
Oh, look, he broke his leg in 3 places.
Yeah. Mako was also cast as the wizard Akiro opposite Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 2 Conan movies, Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer.
Conan the Barbarian's great. Conan the Destroyer's garbage.
And he was also cast as the confidant to Chuck Norris's road cop in the thriller An Eye for an Eye in 1982.
Yeah, Chuck Norris kept saying, "Should I kick him in the nuts?" And Mako would be like, "No. I'm doing it anyway.
Here we go.
Here's your nuts, capuch. Hiya!"
In 1990, he had a minor role in the psychological thriller Pacific Heights alongside Matthew Modine, Melanie Griffith, and Michael Keaton.
Such a weird movie. That was one of the first times Michael Keaton played a bad guy.
Oh, yeah?
And have you ever seen this movie?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, it's so cool. So Modine and Griffith have this duplex in San Francisco, and they rent out the other part of the house to Michael Keaton.
Oh, okay.
And he's like a squatter. Oh. And he starts doing all this stuff, and they can't get him out, and it's just like this turns into this twisted psychological thriller. And I think, I'm not sure who Mako played. I don't remember him. But it's a pretty good movie.
Okay.
And it was the first time we got to see Keaton being, sinister.
Yeah. He played Mr. Lee in Sidekicks in 1992, co-starring Chuck Norris and Jonathan Brandis.
Yeah, but little kids, teach him how to kick people in the nuts.
Before he kills himself. He appeared as Yoshida-san in Rising Sun in 1993, opposite Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes.
Guilty pleasure. That movie is so not great.
Not good at all.
The book is good. It's
but
Michael
it's
Crichton.
fun. Yeah.
Based on the Michael Crichton book. But yeah, it's just... it was when Sean Connery was just doing these weird roles.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yes, senpai, you're my senpai. And he was like, dude, you're Scottish, okay?
Yes.
And Wesley Snipes is a black dude. You're not, okay? You're not Japan.
Yeah. He also played Kanamitsu in RoboCop 3 in 1983.
Oh, the best RoboCop.
CEO of the Kanamitsu Corporation, and I'm assuming the bad guy.
Probably.
Being that it's RoboCop. He also played Kungo Sarong in 7 Years in Tibet, 1997, starring alongside Brad Pitt.
Ugh, that movie was so boring.
It was very boring. It felt like it was 7 years long.
Yes.
And also, I didn't realize this, but he voiced Aku, the evil demon in Samurai Jack, for 24 episodes.
Yes. Oh, I knew that.
So good.
I think I have those on DVD. I
It's
love
so
Samurai
good.
Jack.
I watched those not too long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's such a weird show.
Between Samurai Jack and Afro Samurai, it was
Yeah.
a samurai celebration back then.
In Avatar: The Last Airbender, he voiced Uncle Iroh for 30 episodes.
Cool.
The season 3 character Mako is named after him
Oh, nice.
because sadly he died in Somas, California on July 21st, 2006 at the age of 72 from esophageal cancer.
Oh, he's probably a smoker.
Yeah, and the really sad thing is that Uncle Iroh, who they had take over for him, was played by a white dude.
Ugh. Was it,
It was Greg something.
I was going to say, was it Joel Grey?
No. Yeah.
Racism.
Prior to his death, he had completed voice work for TMNT as the voice of Splinter, with the film being dedicated to him.
Oh, that's right.
That came out in 2007. That was his last role.
He was so great. He
Mako was amazing.
such a great actor. And if he were born later and he had a career today,
Yeah.
he would probably be one of the greatest actors, one of the most celebrated actors.
He would be winning Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he just got relegated to
Yeah. It was his time and place, man.
Asian guy.
Yeah, he was Asian dude. Play vaguely Asian guy.
because he was such an amazing actor. He could,
Yeah.
you know. In a lot of stinkers, never stunk the place up. He was
No.
always amazing.
No. Watching him and Billy Barty together was amazing.
Well, he had such gravitas to him too.
Yeah.
You know, and he overcame all of the crappy racist tropes. He wasn't sucked into the racism of the other poor Asian people
Right.
as much, you know. The whole Pearl in the River thing was so unbelievably offensive. And again, went on for 6 hours.
It went on for so long.
The pearl is in the river. So, Eve Arden lost a pearl. The pearl fell in her plate of liver.
Liver. Yeah.
So poor Bennett Ota couldn't catch a break. He's like, since he's the nicest guy in the world, the pearl is in, instead of river, liver. And so, since pearl is in the river, is the catchphrase for the Nazi to meet with the Japanese guy.
Yeah. Do you understand how bored I am just listening to you talk
But
about
here's the
it?
thing that's so stupid, that's absolutely stupid about it, is that there was never any real. He put the paper in the script, but he immediately found out that he was wrong.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
No.
The whole thing was pointless.
It was just to get the thing in the script. It's every gag had some secret stupid purpose.
Yeah, it was reverse engineered in the worst possible way.
Worst possible way. And then the liver thing went on forever. And then when Mako says, the pearl is in the river, then Eve Arden's like, no, we got it out of the liver.
Oh, yes, thank you.
So let's bring it back and make it racist again. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Cork Hubbard was cast as Rollo Sweet.
Cork.
Yeah. Hubbard had only appeared in a few movies before Under the Rainbow, including Where the Buffalo Roam in 1980 about Hunter S. Thompson, starring Bill Murray.
Yeah, where he played kind of a regular character, I think, in that.
I've never seen it. I don't remember.
It's interesting. Bill Murray does a pretty good job of playing Hunter S. Thompson and, Peter Boyle
Oh, yeah.
as Laszlo. I think it's Laszlo. It's his
Yeah, the
lawyer.
lawyer,
The
yeah.
lawyer friend. It's interesting. It's not quite Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but it has elements of that. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's just had elements of his different stuff. But the worst part about that movie, from what I heard, is when Murray returned to Saturday Night Live after playing this role, he was still in the character of playing Hunter S. Thompson, and people were just like, "F you, Bill Murray,
Stop. Just
stop,
stop. Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
for God's sake, please just stop."
Cork Hubbard was also in Caveman in 1981, starring Ringo Starr.
Yeah, where he met Barbara Bach, his wife, and Shelley Winters was also in that movie, and Matuzak, the football player, who ended up dying of a brain aneurysm later.
And this is now two more times than we've ever mentioned Ringo Starr before in any episode ever.
I really liked that movie as a kid. I saw it in the
Caveman?
theater.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it.
It was goofy and fun.
A lot of poop. A lot of giant dinosaur poop. A lot of people falling in giant dinosaur poops. I'm sure, poor McCormick, I'm pretty sure he fell into poop.
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
Cork Hubbard would appear in The Fall Guy in 1982 and Magnum P.I. in 1983.
He was in Magnum a couple of times, and he played this, like, little con man guy. I don't mean little con, but he played this, like, con man guy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily, again, like a little person part, but it was a fun part. And he got to, show us more comedy. It was one of the more lighter episodes of Magnum. And I think he came on a couple of times as this character.
Hubbard had problems getting parts, where his struggles as an actor after Under the Rainbow and Magnum P.I. were chronicled as part of the book The Sweeps Behind the Scenes in Network TV by Mark Christensen and Cameron Stouth about NBC's 83-84 TV season.
What happened?
He just couldn't get work. And every time he was going in for pilots and stuff, he just didn't get anything.
Oh.
But he was just kind of a focus of the book, just to talk about the sweeps and how all that stuff works.
Okay, so they weren't casting him.
He just wasn't getting parts.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't in. His credits were not very long. I mean,
honestly, and I hate to say it, but Cork wasn't that great an actor.
Yeah.
He tried really hard.
But I mean, look, he was charming in this movie.
He was, and he wasn't.
He was serviceable.
He was fine. Look, I got a love-hate with Cork. No, I'm just kidding. Cork was fine.
Cork was always cast for his size and not his acting ability. In 1985, he appeared as Brown Tom in Legend alongside Billy Barty.
Oh, yeah.
Which he was in a bunch of makeup and stuff, so it didn't really matter. The Twilight Zone in 1986 as a leprechaun.
Oh, I remember that one.
And Sinbad of the Seven Seas in 1989 as Poochie the Dwarf, an Italian fantasy film.
Yes.
Yeah. In 1991, he was in The Ballad of the Sad Cafe, starring Vanessa Redgrave, Keith Carradine, and Rod Steiger. Rod Steiger. It was based on an Edward Albee play, so the part was better for Hubbard, but he still played Cousin Lyman, a hunchback dwarf in the film.
Well, yes, but at least it gave him some more meat.
Yeah, it was a better role. It just,
great
he
cast.
was a hunchback dwarf.
Yes.
His last role was providing additional voices for Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, released in 2004. Sadly, he died in 2003 in Venice, Los Angeles, from complications of diabetes.
He was probably pretty young.
Yeah, he was only 51.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's really young, And how tough must it have been to be a Cork Hubbard back then, where you're a good actor and you've had some pretty big roles, but it's just there's nothing for you.
They're always just looking at your size.
Yeah.
Going, well, we didn't. Yeah.
It's like, okay, is Star Trek casting this season? Is this? It's like, what creature can I play?
Right.
Right.
It's just
It sucks being that good and then
not having Pat McCormick was cast as Tiny because lazy.
Jesus.
McCormick is best known as an actor despite starting as a writer, as we talked about earlier.
Yep.
Playing Big Enos in Smokey and the Bandit next to Paul Williams as Little Enos.
Yes, they were the impetus. They wanted Burt Reynolds to get the beer across to Texarkana.
Yes.
In so many hours for a party. That's why I love that movie so much. The whole plot does not matter at all.
It doesn't matter. No.
It's just a bet from two super weirdos in matching suits.
McCormick was 6'7" foot tall and had a big walrus mustache that he wore all the time.
He is instantly recognizable. He looks like a cartoon. And he seems like the best grandpa in the world.
Yeah,
he'd get down and play with you.
He seems so warm and inviting and just like he just wants to hang out and have a good time.
Even in this role where he's kind of an unlikable dummy, you can't help but like him.
Yeah.
You can't help but just love him when he's dancing with the little person.
Yeah, he's just like, he's getting into it.
All the little people are tying him up to have sex with him. That was weird. He's like, let's climb this mountain.
Yeah, that 20-minute orgy scene was really bizarre.
Well, they had him tied up, and they had the hat over his ween, so they definitely took it out. They wanted to see what was going on down there.
So, along with his prolific writing, McCormick appeared in a bunch of the TV shows he wrote, in others, including
Get Smart, The Red Skeleton Hour, Bob Newhart Show, Sanford and Son, Buffalo Bill and the Indians, or Sitting Bull's History Lesson, Laverne and Shirley, Scavenger Hunt, The Gong Show Movie, History of the World Part 1, The Love Boat, The Fall Guy, Trapper John M.D., Pryor's Place, The New Adventures of Beans Baxter, Scrooge, The Golden Girls, Cop Rock, Raising a Fire, and Sister, Sister.
I went down a weird rabbit hole with The New Adventures of Beans Baxter.
Yeah, what was that?
It was a sitcom about a kid whose dad, who's a mailman, disappears, and then he ends up joining like the CIA and trying to find his dad. It was a half-hour sitcom. It looked awful, but I want to see it so bad.
I remember the name. I'm sure I probably watched it.
It's just looks awful.
He's also Cop Rock.
Kid named Beans. Yeah, Cop Rock.
Beans Baxter.
In Pryor's Place, which I just found out when writing the script,
Richard Pryor.
that it was one of the two Sid and Marty Krofft shows that were done for adults.
Yeah?
Yeah, adults,
Well,
yeah,
it's
quote-unquote adults.
another one of the shows where Richard Pryor couldn't do anything that he was famous for.
Because the other was the Far Out Space Nuts,
Yes.
which we will talk about in a second.
He didn't. He played. It was with Bob Denver, right?
Yep.
And McCormick, because they couldn't get the skipper.
No, it was Bob Denver and Chuck McCann.
Oh, Chuck
He
McCann.
wasn't in that, but it was just the other Sid and Marty Krofft adult show.
Yeah, which was
quote-unquote adult show.
But I thought it was on Saturday mornings. Because I
know.
remember that.
I don't know if it didn't have any like giant creatures in it or something.
Here's what I remember.
I don't
So
know.
Bob Denver.
Yes,
And,
we've talked about
what's
this
the other
before.
guy's name?
Chuck McCann.
Chuck McCann, who is filling in for the skipper.
Yeah.
Hale Jr. or whatever his name is.
Oh,
Something
yeah,
Hale.
yeah.
Nathan Hale, maybe? I don't
That
know.
sounds right.
So these are two like janitor guys that are cleaning up the spaceship, and Bob Denver gets hungry. So he sees what he thinks is the lunch button. Oh, but it's actually the launch button. So he presses the launch button, and then the space nuts go up in space, and then they're trapped in space, having adventures. Couple of dummies.
Far Out Space Nuts.
All they wanted was their lunch.
Yeah. Anyway, we will. There's somebody in this movie that was in that show, so we'll get to it.
Sid and Marty Krofft is powered by weed and LSD.
Oh yeah. No.
And
They are
beautifully
more.
so.
They are more like people are 70% water. No, they're 70% LSD and weed.
I love their stuff. I would have loved to be a part of their.
So bizarre.
Oh my god! I to this day, HR Puffin stuff is still one of my favorite kid shows ever.
Oh yeah. In 1998, McCormick retired after being left partly paralyzed by a stroke.
Oh.
According to fellow writer Mark Evanier, McCormick was driving to the Beverly Hilton Hotel when he suffered a stroke and crashed his car into a concrete wall.
That is one of my biggest fears: is having a stroke or a heart attack while driving and then taking out a bunch of people.
Yeah. The vehicle caught fire, but a woman named Danielle Villegas pulled him out and dragged him to safety before the car exploded.
And he looked at it and he's like, "I see you in a completely different light. Let's get married."
She obviously they do it at 6'7". Like she must have been strong.
Oh my god, yeah. Or she had that weird
Adrenaline.
mother strength where remember in the 70s they
She
kept
picked up the car,
Yeah.
shook him out of it, and then threw the car away.
There are all these stories in the 70s on That's Incredible
Yeah.
and Real People and stuff about like mothers who lifted up a car to save their
My
child.
kid's trapped underneath.
This crazy adrenaline strength, which they proved never happened.
No, of course not.
Nobody ripped a car door off.
No. McCormick was admitted to the Motion Picture and Television Country House and Hospital in Woodland Hills, California, where he spent the remainder of his life.
God damn it, I hate
He
hearing
died there 7 years later in 2005 at the age of 78.
that. The only thing I can think of is being at the Motion Picture and Television Country House, that there's other actors and stuff, and maybe it's a better situation than just your typical gross
You can reminisce
home.
about the old times, and
And hopefully they take good care of them, but man,
it sucks.
7 years, and it's
That's
these places are just storage for old
Yeah.
people until they die.
Yeah.
It's just the most depressing and horrible. Look, there are some really good retirement places
Sure,
that have great facilities for,
Yeah.
like the one that they did on that Ted Danson show
Yeah.
about infiltrating the retirement home. There's better places, but man, for so long they were just dumping grounds.
Yeah. Put him in the home. And,
Sit them in a chair,
Yeah.
by a window, like they're a freaking houseplant.
yeah, set him outside for 4 hours and then bring him back in.
Dignity. There's no dignity to getting older, man.
Adam Arkin was cast as Henry Hudson, the proprietor of the hotel.
Yeah, Adam Arkin. Yeah, I'm going to take over the hotel from my uncle when he goes. My uncle Lester, he's going for a sex capade
he
with
went-
the
for like a weekend or something.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, if nobody's coming, I'll take you with me to this. It was like a convention or something, a hotel convention.
I don't know.
And then she's like, oh, there goes the 100 reservations.
Man, when the uncle showed back up, I totally forgot he existed.
Yeah, everybody did. So much happened by then.
I was just like, who is this guy again? Oh, he's the uncle that's running the hotel.
And the uncle was played by Richard Stahl. He's a character actor that was in everything.
Yeah.
Everything. So, I mean, as soon as you see him, you know who he is.
Adam Arkin is the son of actor Alan Arkin, who's a very, very good actor.
And so is Adam.
Oh, yeah, he's great. Arkin's first role was in The Monitors in 1969 at the age of 13. The Monitors is a sci-fi satire, the first film produced by Chicago's Second City comedy troupe.
Interesting. I'd like to see that.
I've never seen it, and I'm very curious.
Yeah, me too.
He's had some success in film, but his bread and butter has been TV, appearing in 21 episodes of Bustin' Loose in 1977.
Was that based on the...
No, I don't think so.
Was it based on the Richard Pryor movie?
No, I don't think so, no. The miniseries A Year in the Life in 1986 and the one season TV season? Wow. The miniseries A Year in the Life in 1986 and the one season on TV that followed in 1987.
Okay.
24 episodes. The miniseries did really well, so they put it into like, oh, we'll do a series. And then the series did not do very well.
Nope.
He was in 6 episodes of Knots Landing, 10 episodes of Northern Exposure from 1990 to 1995.
That's where I know him best from.
Yeah.
Is playing the chef. The
Guy waits everybody.
Yeah.
I'm a real curmudgeon.
I was a little surprised that he was only in 10 episodes. I felt like he was in a lot more than that.
He made a huge splash on that show.
He did. He was in 138 episodes of Chicago Hope from 1994 to 2000, earning an Emmy nom for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series.
Sure. Okay. That's another show that doesn't exist in my world.
Yeah, I know a lot of people love that show, but it's like it went away.
Isn't that the McDreamy show?
No.
Chicago Hope?
Chicago Hope ended in 2000. The McDreamy show is still on the air.
Oh, Chicago Hope wasn't bad.
No, Chicago Hope was
That
good.
was pretty good. And he was good on it, I remember.
Yeah. It was obviously greenlit because ER was doing really well.
Yes.
It was a
lighter
hospital show,
yeah.
but it wasn't. Yeah, it didn't get quite as drama.
No, it was a more about the doctor, the personal lives.
Yeah. 12 episodes of 8 Simple Rules, the last show that John Ritter was on.
Yeah, didn't he come on after he died?
I don't think so.
I don't remember.
I think he played a
that show.
teacher on it. He was a teacher for one of the kids.
Oh, right.
Or for one of the
Kelly
daughters.
Cuoco was on that, right?
Kelly Cuoco?
Kelly Cuoco?
Maybe?
She was the daughter
I don't remember.
for 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Daughter.
Yeah.
She was the daughter.
I mean, probably. I don't know. I never actually watched it.
Poor John Ritter. He died on that stage.
He died there, yeah. It was sad. 32 episodes of Life from 2007 to 2009.
I really liked that show.
I really like that show, too.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with that show for a while.
With the, what's his name?
Damien.
From Homeland and...
Yeah, and for some reason...
Band of Brothers.
And for some reason, I don't know why, but whenever I think of him, I always think of that awful Stephen King movie.
Yes!
Yes.
Dreamcatcher. That is a guilty pleasure of mine. Because that is Timothy Olyphant, him...
Damian Lewis.
Damian Lewis, yes.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that's always the first thing I think of.
Yeah.
But Life is such a good show.
Very good show. I was really bummed when that was canceled because it was so unique and positive.
It was very interesting. Yeah. Adam Arkin was also in 11 episodes of Sons of Anarchy.
Sure.
He most recently started directing. He directed 4 episodes of The Offer about the making of The Godfather on Paramount Plus.
I watched a couple eps of that. It was interesting.
It was okay.
It was fine. It just...
Didn't quite grab you?
I guess. It also stars that dude from The Gorge that I don't like.
Oh, Miles Teller, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And Paul Messer was in Whiplash. Hey, I'm going to play your dad.
Yeah, he played his dad. Yeah.
Hey, you're a good drummer. You're a good drummer.
Yeah.
I like your drummer.
I love that movie so much.
Yeah, that's...
Despite Miles Teller, I love that movie.
I hated him in that movie, but I liked the movie.
I liked him in that movie because he was an asshole. And, that was totally... he was perfect for that part.
Yes.
It was perfect.
Ugh, I started watching The Gorge.
Oh, yeah.
No, thank you.
Adam Arkin also directed 4 episodes of The Night Agent on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Is that that's a spy?
Yeah, I've heard good things. Haven't watched it yet. I
Same.
think it has a new season coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So he's probably going to direct more episodes of it.
Well, good. I'm glad he's working.
It seems like he's directing more now than he's acting. So I'm more good for him.
Yeah.
Adam Arkin's always solid.
He's a super talented guy, and his father is one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yes. Zelda Rubinstein was cast as Iris.
Yeah, baby.
Under the Rainbow was Rubinstein's second film credit, with Americathon from director Neil Israel in 1979 being her first.
Neil Israel is everywhere. He just 6 degrees.
Keeps popping up.
He does.
I couldn't even pick him out of a lineup. I have no idea who Neil Israel is.
Nobody does.
It's like he stopped making movies and everyone just forgot he existed.
Yeah, they did.
She's best known for playing the medium Tangina Barons in the Poltergeist series of films, the only actor to appear in all 3, as well as the TV show in 1996.
This house is clean.
I forgot that the TV show existed.
Oh, honey, you be careful about your girl. You couldn't grab her. You
so
don't listen
good.
to them. You
was so
just
good.
bring her back here.
And I don't know why, but for some reason when I think of her in Poltergeist, I don't think of her as being a little person.
Well, because it doesn't matter.
No, I know,
It's just a
but
medium,
it's like it's surpassed that. Like it was like she was this insane, crazy medium.
She's also like, what was the actor from The Year of Living Dangerously? She played a little boy, but she's a little woman. Anyway, there's certain actors like her that kind of are in between just being short and being a little person.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't quite have like the proportions.
Right.
She
right.
just sometimes seems like a short lady.
Yeah, it's just it was just a good part, and she did it really well.
Amazing.
I mean, did it really well. She also appeared in 2 seasons of Picket Fences.
She's great in that. I love that show.
So good. Rubinstein was the narrator for 41 episodes of The Scariest Places on Earth.
Ooh.
Yeah, she did a lot of voice acting later, and this was, I found fascinating, she was also the voice of Skittles Candies in their long-running Taste the Rainbow ad campaign.
Taste the Rainbow.
Yeah, I don't think that was her. I think she was the actual voice of the Skittles.
Well, she had
Yeah,
such
it
a
was
very distinctive voice.
Yeah.
She also, one of my favorite parts she ever played was in 16 Candles.
Oh, yeah.
At the church. And the thing I remember about it, she's like,
Okay, honey, I'll see you.
and as she walks away, she's a drinker, and you hear the
gloosh,
gloosh, the little like flask, the water, the liquid gloogling in it.
Right.
Gloogle, gloogle, gloogle.
Sadly, she died in Los Angeles on January 27, 2010, at the age of 76.
Yeah.
Eric Stevens, Rubinstein's agent for 4 years, said the actress never recovered from a mild heart attack several months earlier, which he said had left her a patient at Barlow Respiratory Hospital in Los Angeles.
Ah, so sad.
Sucks. Yeah, but she made it to 76, so that's it's not bad, but yeah.
She went hard.
Bad
That's
way to
sad.
go.
She was great, man. And another person that overcame a lot, and had a real career. And, it first was kind of a novelty and then became, because of Poltergeist, they were like, okay, she's an actor.
She's actually a good actor, yeah.
It just sucks that so many people had to overcome things to be respected. Rather, John Candy can't be a leading guy because he's a chub.
Yeah,
and this and that.
yeah.
But they overcome it because their talent outshines the prejudices of Hollywood.
She was also, I didn't include this, but she was a big political activist too. She was very much pushing the Little People organizations.
Oh, good.
But she was also one of the very first people to start organizations for AIDS patients.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember learning that she was a very remarkable person outside of her career.
Yeah. She just had that gravitas. She was so good.
Okay, honey.
Patty Maloney was cast as Rosie. Maloney was best known as Honk from Far Out Space Nuts, starring Bob Denver and Chuck McCann.
Honk, honk.
I always just feel so bad. It's like, well, you're a little person. We're going to call you Honk.
Well, her next role isn't that much better.
She was also Lumpy from the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Lumpy, wasn't that the kid?
Yeah.
Wasn't that
It was
Chewbacca's son?
Chewbacca's son, yeah. Son, yeah. Because were there 2 of them or just the one?
No, it was Lumpy. There was the wife, and then there was the horny grandpa who was watching the weird VR porno with Diane Carroll. It was okay. Harvey Korman was in it.
The only thing I really remember was Carrie Fisher talking about Lumpy. Oh, Lumpy. Like, just, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
She was also cast as Darla Hood from the animated TV series version of The Little Rascals.
Oh, okay.
And this is amazing to me. She operated the Crypt Keeper puppet on Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, nice.
So weird. In 2010, Maloney was diagnosed with age-related macular degeneration.
Oh, man.
A visual impairment, which severely limited her ability to read scripts.
Stephen King suffers from that.
Does he? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
After suffering several strokes, she died in Winter Park on March 31st, 2025 at the age of 89.
That's a pretty good run.
Yeah, that was only a couple months ago. But 89, that's good, yeah. Peter Isaacson was cast as Homer. Not a lot of info about Peter Isaacson. He's best known for appearing in 37 episodes of CPO Sharky from 1976 to 78, starring Don Rickles.
Okay, poor Peter Isaacson. He was a big cherub-faced man,
Yeah.
big boy man.
Yeah.
And he played dumb big boy men all the time.
All the time.
And I think he just got sick of playing dumb big boy men and was like, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
Because like Pat McCormick, he's not going to be playing a scientist.
No.
He's just got this cartoonish look
not
about
gonna be
him.
the love interest. He's not. He's very typecast.
And he's funny. He was really funny in
He was great in this, yeah.
And he's great at playing like Jethro Bodine types, but, it's got to
Yeah.
be tiring playing a big dumb dude. He was the guy with the dogs.
Tony Cox played the transformed Otis, not in, as they credit him, a hotel guest.
Well, yeah, Freeman King played Otis,
Yeah.
who was like regular sized.
The elevator operator,
Yes.
Tony Cox has appeared in...
Bad Santa, Friday, Me, Myself, and Irene. Date movie, epic movie, disaster movie, and Leprechaun 2.
He's also known for his role in George Lucas's Willow, as an Ewok in Return of the Jedi, and as the preacher in Tim Burton's Beetlejuice.
He's great. Bad Santa, he is awesome.
Yeah.
But Me, Myself, and Irene is such a hilarious part as the guy that is cheating with, with Jim Carrey's wife.
He's had a great career.
He's always great. Epic movie. All these movies did him dirty. I'm sorry.
I know. Well, they were all... It's very lowest common denominator. Date movie, epic movie, disaster movie, all of them.
And it was just making fun of his son.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no subtlety.
Yeah, you're small, we're going to make fun of you.
Yes. He was like the mini Indiana Jones or something in epic movie.
It was a lot of punching down.
Yep.
Way down.
And
to get way down there.
He deserved a lot better than that.
Jerry Marin, who appeared in The Wizard of Oz as one of the Lollipop Guild, actually makes a cameo as a little person in the film.
Ooh.
He's the only person to actually be in The Wizard of Oz that was in this movie.
It's nothing how this happened. We weren't like this at all. We were very respectful. You guys a bunch of jerks.
Phil Fondacaro makes his film debut in Under the Rainbow as the guy who falls down the stairs twice.
Now, I didn't know this about him, about Phil, but he has a twin brother who's also a dwarf.
Yeah, which I don't think the twin brother had much of a career.
I don't think he did at all, because
Yeah.
I remember Phil in everything.
Yeah, he's had a long career.
Because he's just like, he's
He's
also
very distinctive with his big black mustache.
His mustache and the way he talks.
Yeah.
And yeah, he fell down the stairs a bunch of times.
He did appear as an Ewok in Return of the Jedi, as I think most of them that appeared in
Yes.
this movie did. But we'll talk about him in some future episode because he definitely had a very long career, and he is one of those actors that he's recognizable immediately.
Yeah, and he also just, he had to play a lot of crap parts.
Yeah.
But he also played some good parts. He was just one of those dwarves that was a mainstay in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
And 90s.
Debbie Lee Carrington also made her film debut in Under the Rainbow.
Oh, she's so adorable.
Her best-known movie roles include playing a Martian rebel in Total Recall.
Yeah.
She's so good in that.
She didn't have 3 boobs.
No, she did not. She was very short.
She was.
An Ewok in Return of the Jedi and in subsequent TV movies, and she was an elf in The Polar Express.
Okay.
Sadly, she died on March 23rd, 2018, at age 58 from various health complications.
Oh, man.
Twink Kaplan appears as the cigarette girl. She is best known for her roles in Clueless and the Look Who's Talking series.
She was the teacher in Clueless. She's the best friend in Look Who's Talking. She's like a lighter comedy version of Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
Like, they could definitely play sisters in something.
Like, she's very recognizable.
She's super cute. She's super fun. She's always funny. And she's got one of the greatest names ever.
Yeah. Was there anybody else you wanted to mention?
Oh, I just wanted to mention, I mentioned Richard Stahl. He's this balding actor who played a lot of dentists and therapists and stuff. A lot of dentists. It's crazy the amount of dentists he played.
Okay.
But I also just wanted to make a quick mention of Pat Billon.
Okay.
He was the tiny little guy who
They run
basically was a rapist.
run through the locker room for the
Yes.
ladies.
So they could
and-
show some boobies.
And he pushed the door shut.
Hiked up his pants and went marching in there to get him some stuff. But he was the littlest little guy.
Yeah.
He had a lot of. He was the
crawled
guy
under.
that was
legs.
definitely in the trailer scene.
Yeah.
Of him crawling under Pat McCormick's
yeah.
legs without even having to
No,
duck.
just straight through.
It was actually pretty funny.
It was.
But he was best known as being, well, not best known, but his probably most famous role was he was the live action version of E.T.
Oh, okay.
Because he was such a little guy. And I'm
Yeah.
sure he probably was an Ewok and probably
I'm sure. I'm
did
sure.
some Star Wars stuff too. But he was a really great little actor. He'd appeared in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He looks like a little Frenchman for some reason, in my opinion. Maybe it's because he's a little perv.
Yeah.
But again, they treated him like a little baby in this. And that's
Yeah.
the infantilization of the little people in this movie was so offensive.
Horribly offensive. So some location filming occurred at the Culver Hotel, where the actors playing Munchkins had actually stayed during the production of The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
The hotel was no longer a working hotel when they shot there.
Oh.
Filming took over 4 months. Various reasons were given, including the lack of acting experience among little people, because why not just blame the little
Sure.
people? But also Chase's depression following the death of Douglas Kenny.
Oh, right.
If
Yeah.
you don't know Douglas Kenny, he co-founded National Lampoon in 1970.
Oh, there's a great. That's not great, but there's a really good Netflix movie about the
Oh,
founding
yeah.
of National
Yeah.
Lampoon. I think Will Forte might be playing. Somebody plays him.
Yeah.
and does a really
You know,
good
it's
job.
funny. I started watching that, and then for some reason I was just like, no, not in the mood, and I never watched it.
Well, I enjoyed it.
But
it
it's one
was-
of those I've been wanting to see for a while.
Yeah, and there's somebody playing Chevy. I think Joel McHale plays Chevy Chase.
Oh.
Which is really funny since
Yeah, he
they
was
have
in
such a
Community,
history together
yeah.
from Community.
Kenny would go on to write, produce, and perform in the influential comedies Animal House and Caddyshack before his sudden death at the age of 33.
Yeah, that was crazy. And I don't think it was like drugs or suicide. I think it was like a
Nope, he fell 35 feet to his death during a vacation in Hawaii.
Yes.
The really messed up thing was that him and Chase went to Hawaii together.
Yeah.
And then Chase went to go shoot something with Kenny's girlfriend.
Oh, wow.
And while he was gone, he went on a hike and fell off a mountain and died.
Oh my God.
Which is why they think that Chase had the depression, because they think he blamed himself for not being there.
Regardless, look, man, if you drop dead, I'd be really sad.
Well, of course.
I mean, for a couple minutes, and then I'd do the show. I'd find another co-host, but I would.
In true Chevy Chase fashion, he denied that was the reason that he was either depressed or why it was delayed.
I was depressed.
I'm too much of a man.
Yeah. I mean, he lost one of his best friends. Like, it's just, that sucks, man.
It does. Chase has been through it, man.
Yeah,
You know, yeah, he's a little rich kid born with a spoon in his mouth, but he also, he's had his fair share of tragedy.
Yeah. Joe Renzetti produced the score for the film, earning himself a Razzie nomination for the abomination that is the score of this film.
The most racist score of any film ever.
So awful. But here's the thing, and we've talked about Joe Renzetti before, because he did the score for Child's Play,
Yeah,
which was good.
sure.
He also did the score for Frankenhooker,
Which we'll find out.
which we're going to talk about later this year. It just blows my mind because this is just so, like, he just phoned it in.
Well, it was all cliches. So when you would see the Asian people, it was ding a bang a dong dong bing bang 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 a bang a bang 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 bing bing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you saw the little people, it was like
Well, and the one time where they had a Native American, where he jumps on the back of the horse, the Native American, and
Yeah.
drums,
drums, and then
It's
the
like,
black
okay.
people. It was just
It was just so on the nose and so lazy.
it was just offensive and lazy, and he just ripped older songs that were stereotypical representations of these poor people that were forced to be in this god-awful movie.
So the producers of this movie were either the most brilliant satirists in Hollywood or they were insanely clueless.
I think I'm going to go with the latter.
Producer Ed Cohen said,
We've taken something that really happened and turned it into entertainment.
assuming he meant how rowdy the little people were during production of The Wizard of Oz, that was not true at all. The instances of Munchkin debauchery was a myth, as much as the myth of someone hanging themselves on set while filming took place.
Sure, it's just prejudice. It's bigotry. Saying that the little people were out of control. It's
Yeah.
they were a bunch of drunken reprobates. It's like, no, man. It sucks the way anybody non-white was portrayed from the beginning of Hollywood up until about 1968.
Yeah.
67, maybe. When did Guess Who's Coming to Dinner come out? But, and you just had to...
That movie just solved racism.
It did. Racism over. Thank you, Hollywood. No, but it just sucked to be, like, we're talking about Cork or talking about even Billy Barty.
Yeah.
Just to survive in this business, you had to humiliate yourself.
Yeah.
To survive, same thing with being like a Mexican-American actor. You were playing a lot of Indians. You were playing a lot of, look at poor Zorba the Greek,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, they would just throw you in whatever vaguely ethnic role they had.
I bet you if you ask anybody what his ethnicity is, they'd say Greek. And it's like, no, he's Mexican.
No, he's Mexican, yeah.
It's to work in Hollywood as a non-white actor, you had to make a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
Or if you didn't work.
No, yeah, that's true.
And that's what sucked.
And that's what I really believe this movie was. Everyone looked at it as a paycheck. It was like, all right, well, I'm getting work.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do this because it's... I mean, there are a lot of little people in this movie that they answered ads, because they had to... But it was like their way to get in. And the silver lining is that a bunch of them had good careers.
Well, and I think it would have been fun to be doing all this crazy stuff, swinging on chandeliers and, jumping around and chasing each other.
Yeah, just getting to be crazy.
Yeah. I don't think that they were like, well, I think this is misrepresenting little people. I think it was just a chance to be in a movie. And probably when they finally saw the finished product, they weren't very happy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be.
Carrie Fisher has gone on record saying that this was the worst movie she was ever in.
Yeah.
And regretted being in it.
She was a lover boy. Which we covered last week, which is another horribly...
Yeah.
Man, poor Carrie Fisher is in all of these really racist, misogynistic movies. I don't think she knew what going in.
She did not have greatest agents.
Do you know what Chevy Chase said about it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I don't think that he really went... I think he was supportive because it was a movie. And he knew he was in it and he wanted it to make money.
And again, it was a lazy Chevy Chase performance. It was just him doing the same performance he did in Foul Play or anything.
Totally phoning it in.
Exactly. And everybody, not everybody, he phoned it in. I think Carrie Fisher just didn't have anything to work with. There's just, what is my character?
There was no material.
What's her motivation was, I want a promotion.
Yeah, that was when they at the end when she's like, no, you can't, don't die because of some silly map, and it's like, yeah, because we were in a fridge together for 20 minutes, and now I'm in love with you.
Well, that's how it worked back then. People died younger in the 30s. This is one of those movies that sounds super interesting when you pitch it.
Yeah.
But is so poorly executed. One of the worst results of filmmaking that we've ever covered on this show. If not the worst.
Yes. Audiences and critics agreed with the movie making only $8.3 million in its initial run against an $18 million budget. And it holds the distinction of having 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I think on IMDb it's like a 6 or a 5, which is very generous.
There's a lot of people on IMDb that are like, no, rewatch it again. It's good.
Well, those people must be Amish and have only seen one movie in their entire life because
It's just not. No. No. If you find yourself liking this movie, I'm sorry, but you need to reevaluate who you are as a person.
It's not that it's super racist against Asian people. It's not that it's super bigoted against little people. It's that it's boring.
It's lazy and boring.
There's no real plot. Everything just kind of mushes together like molasses. It just kind of flows together and comes to this anemic bullshit conclusion that ends up in the most cliched, hackneyed chase that we've seen in every cartoon.
And the worst trope ever. It was all a dream.
That made me want to punch the screen.
There's one movie that can get away with that.
Yes.
And it was The Wizard of Oz.
Yes. And if you're going to do... And then it just negates everything. Then this whole, like...
Why did I watch this?
Well, then this isn't a historic take because it's a dream. None of this happened. It's about to happen.
Right.
Because he's going to go there and be in it. But, it's like, well, why are you getting all mad? Because this isn't... It was just his own dream interpretation.
If that's what they intended, then that should have been more clear.
Now, in Wizard of Oz, it's been a while since I've seen it. Is everything from Dorothy's point of view? Are there any scenes without Dorothy in it?
Yes.
There is a couple scenes with like the
there's like
Wicked
stuff
Witch
with the witch,
and the
like when she
monkeys.
gets the monkeys going,
My
and
pretties.
but they're very short, and it's not. Yeah, but otherwise, I'm pretty sure she's in everything.
Well, that's the thing. If they were going to make this Cork Hubbard's dream, then Cork Hubbard had to be Dorothy. He had to be the star. Chevy Chase.
Exactly.
All these people had to be ancillary characters.
Right.
You can't have somebody have a dream and then Chevy Chase is the star of your dream.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. And Chevy Chase is just some goober living in the town. Some poor son of a bitch who can't get a meal, so he has to stay in the mission.
Yeah. Yeah.
With all the other poor sons of bitches that are living in Dust Bowl America.
It is just such a cop-out. Like, it is such a cop-out.
And not only is it a cop-out, it's just so stupid that they're like, guess what, Rolo? We got you in the movie.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, didn't you get my letter, Rolo? And I didn't get the letter. And everything from the beginning is negated. And it's just...
Yeah.
So and it's like Hollywood or bust. And it's like, well, what is it? Is this a casting guy? None of it makes any sense.
No.
It's just it made me so mad that they dreamt out of that movie because that makes everything that we just watched pointless.
Yeah.
Absolutely
It was
pointless.
Utterly pointless.
And a waste of time. And yeah, this movie made me mad. It did. It made me mad.
I was just thinking about the Kentucky Fried Movie and when they did the takeoff of the ending of Wizard of Oz with the big long martial arts thing where it was like, no, it was all a dream. And then the one guy has like the fire hand and it like comes in the frame for a second and comes back out the window. He's like, nope. Anyway, sorry. That's a much better movie.
Such a better movie and such a great classic comedy. This movie, sometimes it's sad when movies disappear.
Yeah.
All the John Candy movies that we covered that you can't get
Yeah.
is a crime against humanity that you can't find these. I'm okay that this one's a little bit difficult.
Yeah.
If
you want to, you can download it from the Internet Archive. Just look for Under the Rainbow. It is the crappiest version quality I've ever seen, but you can watch it.
Adam ended up getting it from the library on DVD.
Yeah.
It wasn't the greatest...
I was not about to pay for it.
No. Good Lord. $1 is too much for this piece of shit. But yeah, I mean, look. I say see it if you haven't seen it.
I will throw the link to the Internet Archive download in our social media.
Yeah, do it.
And that way you can watch this. Don't have to pay for it, but watch it and understand what we're saying about this movie.
I think you should see it because it is a very good representation of the casual racism bigotry of Hollywood up until like 6 years ago. And even then, not...
Hey, it's all right. It's making a comeback.
Yeah. It's a good example of what not to do with a movie.
Yes.
And it's a great example of what not to do with Chevy Chase or Carrie Fisher. They ripped all the charm out of Chevy Chase. And they ripped all the talent and everything out of Carrie Fisher. They gave her nothing. Nothing to work with.
She just ran around and did stuff.
She looked lost.
Yeah.
And bemused and annoyed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's how she felt through the entire thing. And then you have real pros, and not that Carrie wasn't a pro, but you have real old school pros like Eve Arden and Mako and Donner that are doing their best to commit to these ridiculously horrible characters. Poor Robert Donner, man.
Yeah.
That character was insulting to everybody who's ever lived. It's
Yes.
But again, it's a mess that I think you should see. Don't watch it sober.
Yeah.
Unless that's your lifestyle. But, get a little something to do a little Carrie Fisher and do a little self-medicating.
If you get to the point where you find it to be too offensive, it's okay to turn it off.
It is definitely fine to turn it off. But it's... I don't know. It's a good example of what not to do with a movie. I think you should see it because it is a very good representation of the casual racism bigotry of Hollywood up until like 6 years ago. And even then, not even It is interesting.
Yeah.
It is an interesting
yes.
little bit of Hollywood history and a lost Chevy Chase, Carrie Fisher film that I would say probably 98% of you have never even heard of.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back next week with Hot to Trot. See if it's any better than Under the Rainbow.
Yes.
Wah, wah.
Oh, baby, don't watch this movie. It's really bad. Wah, wah. Whenever I think of... excuse me. I get gassy. Sadness makes me gassy.
Mara was an Irish actor that did a lot of acting on and off Broadway, earning 3 Tommy nominations.
Tommy nomination? Are we living in... what's that dumb show with the motorcycle guys? The Mayans?
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. Are we living in Sons of Anarchy, Adam?
Yeah, we are.
What was I yelling about before I was yelling about that?
I don't know. You just started yelling about things, Jim. Billy Barty was also in Billy Barty.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Battlestar Galactica, already in progress.